Esportsin Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
It's Monday. You know what that means. We have a very zoomed in Sin face because it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful face. We are back again with some more ECL Elite action. There we go. Right here on NHL Gamer. My name is Tukey, joined as always by my broadcast partner, Sin. Beautiful face and all. And again, we are back to kick off another week of Elite Division action here, barreling towards the playoffs and ultimately getting that much closer to deciding who's going to walk away with a decent chunk of change at the end of this season. Sin, big day today. 2 matchups, playoff implications with both. We kick things off with Ymca Esports taking on SJ Gaming, and a little bit later on in this broadcast, it's hREDS and Team Leisure. Very excited to see how today goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last season, I should say, it technically was last year, Ymca Esports, then the Unlucky Boys, made quite the run at the end of the season to make it into the playoffs and really gave hREDS a run for the money. So while they do have, just the 6-9-3 record right now, I'm really excited to see if they're going to have a similar surge to what they did last year and push themselves into a pretty solid playoff position.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, you talk about it at this stage of the game, most teams have played 18 to 20 games out of a 30-game season. So as if every point didn't matter before, it certainly does now. But we'll get you a look at the schedule for what is going on today around the league, not just here on this broadcast. Of course, we'll get you a look at the standings here in a moment as well. But a big matchup between Ymca Esports and Färjestad will be going on around the same time as well. A battle between 2 playoff teams, Philadelphia and Roots Gaming, going head-to-head. And again, we have the games here, SJ Gaming and Ymca Esports. And again, a little bit later on, as the voice gives out, Team Leisure and hREDS. Sin, I mean, again, you see it here with the schedule. Vesapampa and Havu as well could be seeing a preview of some playoff action today.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the top dogs kind of going up against each other. And what I'm most excited about to see the results from that. Can Vesapampa, hand Havu a loss or really give them a run for their money? Same with Roots in Philadelphia. I mean, you said it. These are possible playoff previews. And I mean, seeing the result of that and how the standings will shift as well, it could have big implications.
And as we move over here to take a look at the standings as it stands heading in to the action today, as Sid mentioned, playoff implications across the board here. Again, the left side is where you want to be. The top 8 teams make the postseason here in the Elite Division. Again, a 30-game regular season, so certainly in the back stretch here, all things considered. But Sin, we've talked about it, the constantly evolving situation. We pretty much knew Philadelphia and Havu was a 1-2. That's been fairly obvious through about a dozen games at this point in the regular season. But we look there, the battle of 3 to 5, 27 points each. And of course, hREDS involved in that. And as you saw, Vesapampa and Färjestad have games to play today. But you see there, 27 points in 3rd place, 22 points for 9th place Kova. We still have a long, long way to go here.
Yeah, you can sort of see a bit of a gap forming between that 8 and 9 slot, but it's no real gap at all. I mean, you look at the games in hand that both Kova and Northern Ascendancy have compared to some of the other teams around them. It really is still anyone's spot, those last few spots in the playoff position.
Absolutely. So again, we will follow along with all the action today, not just for the games that we have in this broadcast, but to turn our attention to the first 2 games that we are going to focus on here again in today's broadcast. It is the team matchup. It's Ymca Esports with a 6-9-3 record, currently sitting in 12th place in the standings, taking on SJ Gaming in 11th with an 8-7-3 record at this point in the season. But Sin, the big thing here, of course, you have the 4-point difference between these 2 teams. So for Ymca here, the team ahead of you, directly ahead of you, is 4 points above. These are 2 must-win games to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Absolutely. I mean, this might be their season on the line here. And if not, I mean, they pretty much would have to win out if they fail to, get the job done, at least pick up 2-3 points. And that's a bare minimum. In a perfect world, they'd come away with all 4 or 3-4. It's both of these teams have so much on the line with this matchup. It might as well be a mini playoff series between them, because if either of them don't have a good showing, it gets dicey at the end of the season here. You're already a few points back, and with not too many games left, you're really cutting it close if you don't come away with a good performance today.
At this stage, coming into the action today, both of these teams winless in their last 4 games. SJ Gaming having been swept by Farjestad. They lost 2 games in overtime, though, and Havu as well swept SJ last week. There was a 1-1 split, or not a 1-1 split there, but 1 loss and then 1 overtime loss. So they have picked up 3 points in their last 4 games. If you're going to lose, at least do it in overtime. For YMCA, a little bit rough. 4 losses, only 1 in overtime. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games, 1-7-2 after a decent start to the season. So that's really kind of been a theme here as well, Sim, for the teams that just haven't been able to hang. SJ Gaming started off the season 4-0, just, of course, 4 wins now in that last half. 10 losses in that time. But we move things over to the team lineups here. Again, the first game of 2 between YMCA Esports and SJ Gaming coming up in just a matter of moments. For the SJ Gaming lineup, we have Yakuri, Ymca, and Ymca up top. The Captain Terity on defense with Koski and Hiatala between the pipes. On the flip side, for YMCA, it is JM98, Masya, and Timothy up top, Kopepelia and Wenger on defense, and Vilsup between the pipes. And we will move directly in, of course, to the individual matchups. We'll kick things off with the battle of the centers. It's Masya and Ymca. We will not get those two confused, I am sure. But Sin, you look here, obviously for Ymca, he hasn't played the majority of the games this season. And Masya, a rookie in the elite division this season. We'll talk about it a little bit more later on, but big shoes to fill on Halkuru out of the lineup. Only played 8 games this season for the captain, so definitely big shoes to fill. Decent point total so far, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really not too bad. I mean, he's over point per game in just those 14 games played. Kind of what you want from your center here, as the wingers can, get to work here. His face-off percentage dead even at 50%. So he's doing, at least, the bare minimum. We'll have to see what he does, in game, if he can win those key face-offs. But yeah, if we look over at Ymca, also, above point per game, and he hasn't taken any penalties for his team. He's just been a really solid presence. And while he hasn't, doesn't really have the face-off percentage, it's not too far behind his opponent over there.
Absolutely. So moving over now to the battle of the wingers. Again, now for SJ Gaming, we have Yakuri and Ymca. On the flip side for YMCA, it is JM98 and Timothy. Impressive point totals across the board here, son.
Absolutely. And this is what you want from your wingers. You want your wingers to be able to produce, but it doesn't seem like either of these teams really has, trouble putting the puck in the net. It's keeping the puck out of the net. But before we move on to the defense, we're going to take a look, obviously, and break down a little bit more. If you look at JM and Timothy, a duo that has been together for, quite some time now, able to establish that chemistry, and 26 points apiece, even though Timothy does have 2 fewer games played. On the flip side, it's a better point per game average on the side of SJ Gaming, but as we mentioned, they do allow more goals. So ratio-wise, it's kind of the same between these two.
Moving over to the battle of the blue line. For SJ Gaming, again, it's the captain of the team in Terity, alongside Koski. On the flip side for YMCA, Kopepelia and Wenger. Sin, what has to stand out here, I'd say, is the difference, of course, in point totals. We see that from a lot of top teams. The defense able to get involved. These two teams, not horrible in that regard. Koski, of course, a very impressive 17 points in 18 games, but we might look for a little bit more out of the defense offensively in these 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. YMCA Esports, Wenger definitely seems to be more the shutdown type. We haven't seen a ton of Kopepelia yet, but he has 9 points in 10 games played. It's a pretty good pace. But yeah, if you look at it, on the nose, SJ Gaming, they seem to get a bit more production out of that back end. So that might be why, YMCA Esports going with Kopepelia here, just for a bit more offense and a bit more threat from their back end.
And then again, in the paint, the battle of the goaltenders. For SJ Gaming, we have Hiatala And for YMCA Esports, it is Viltsup. Sin, decent numbers to this point, but both goaltenders capable of a whole hell of a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen Hiatala. He can step up in big moments. So the numbers being where they are, perhaps not what we're quite used to. We always talk about, what you want to reach. You kind of want to reach that 800 mark, the 80% on your save percentage. Neither goalie is there thus far. And you can sort of see the goals against average, which I always consider as more of a team stat. While both teams are scoring, you can see SJ Gaming allowing, a few more goals against while scoring a bit more. So it'll be interesting to see which goalie gets the edge in this matchup.
So with that, let's move things over to the keys to success for these three teams. We are going to kick things off with YMCA Esports. Again, just a few moments away here from puck drop, the first game of two between these two teams. And for YMCA, Sim, we already alluded towards a big shoes to fill for Masya, replacing Angel Kuru. He's done well. The point total, though, noticeably lower than the wingers. The team is 12th in goals, 4 out of 16 teams. Now would be a great time to see Masya step up. Second point here, we're going to see it for a lot of teams. It's a common thread, but stay out of the box. It's, again, being in the top 6 in penalty minutes, not exactly a winning formula. They do have a decent PK, but at the end of the day, that's the extra puck possession that's being taken away from you. And then the last point here, new year, new game. Viltsup, as we just talked about, has had a much better track record than what that save percentage this year shows. He has an 84% save percentage last year, but this year he's down almost 10% to this stage. So at the end of the day, we know he's capable for more. It's a different game. It's a different meta. Of course, goaltending changes a lot as well from game to game. Looking forward to seeing Viltsup perhaps step up here to make sure that his team finds their way into a playoff spot. Sin, for SJ Gaming, what are the keys? Again, another team just on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and the first key here is carrying the weight, and if they want to get onto the inside, it might have to fall to Yakari, who has only one of 7 skaters in this league, averaging at least 1 goal per game. He also has an incredibly high shooting percentage, so efficiency is often key here, and we'll see if SJ Gaming as a whole want to adopt that mentality. And speaking of which, I mean, with 12 games to go, Yakari, the pressure's on him not to fall off when it comes to that efficiency. He's going to need to keep producing. The next point here is playing with fire. SJ have a top 5 offense, but are bottom 4 in terms of defense, which you have touched upon in here. So while they're scoring a bunch, keeping the puck out of the net is a bit of trouble for him there. And, a big part of that is also being top 5 in penalties. They do have a good penalty kill. It's ranked 4th in the league, but it's simply not a winning formula. Same when it comes to, them and YMCA Esports, both of them need to stay out of the box. The last one here, time to step up. There's a lot of pressure on Hiatala today. Top goalies in the league, as we always mention, around that 80% or so. That's where you kind of want to shoot for. And he's only sitting around that 70, 71%. And sometimes you need your goaltender to steal a game. And right now, with the season seemingly almost on the line here, this is a perfect time to do it. We know he's capable, but we want to see it now.
So again, just a few moments away here from puck drop, game 1 of 2 between YMCA Esports and SJ Gaming. The first game of 4, of course, in this broadcast. Again, if you missed it, a little bit later on, it is hREDS and Team Leisure going head-to-head. Both teams with a lot to play for in that matchup as well. So as we get ready here, we're also going to take a look again at what's going on around the league. Of course, we showed you guys what is going to be going on today in terms of other games and the standings as well. I want to show you some of the top players in the Elite Division to the stage. We're going to kick things off here with the top forwards throughout the league as, again, we get ready for a puck drop here. And Sin, no real surprise, of course, a lot of Havu, a lot of Philadelphia at the top, and hREDS as well, of course, currently in 4th. Again, we'll see them playing a little bit. Veluxit's still up there, though, for Kova. Excited to see if really he can kind of propel that team into the playoffs. But, Sim, when you look at it, I mean, again, the top offensive players doing what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's no real surprise to see the top 4 up there. What I do like to see is, Benito and Yuki there. They have really kind of stepped up into their own. And one thing that we're almost surprised about is we predict, Nicky Dangle's really breaking out. Not up there for his team, hREDS, but, probably not too far behind in the overall standings. But, I mean, you pretty much expect to see a lot of those guys up there. Volpatofla and Veluxit, both of them have been, pleasant surprises for their team. And you mentioned it, Veluxit, can he help carry, Kova into that playoff berth?
We also have a look for you here at the top defensemen in terms of point totals to this stage in the season. And Sin, I mean, overall impressive. I mean, you do have Rimpe up there, which again, kind of out of nowhere for Gotham Knights to be that high up. That's another team that's on the outside looking in of the playoff structure right now. To be honest, I seemingly feel as though he has played some forward this season. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, pure defenseman. There we go. Never mind. Just very impressive. Tried to take it away from him. In fairness, Psycho Skills in second for Team Leisure has been playing some forward as of late. But then you get into, I'd say, the usual suspects. I mean, Seeley up there for Roots. We saw him in action last weekend, or last week, I should say, and he was great. Of course, King of Apes, and then you get into the Philadelphia contingent of Jay Toro and Loimo.
Yeah, and I think we can measure, those teams who really have a shot to be the top ones when they have both of their defensemen up there. We talk about Philadelphia, how they like to involve their defense, probably this year more than ever, especially when you look at their goal totals. Both of them are up there. Ilmari and Domi for hREDS, both of them are up there as well. And that's a good sign, getting into the playoffs. It's a very good sign if both of your defensemen are contributing offensively and among the top 10.
And a quick look at the top goaltenders as well in the league. Again, just waiting for the confirmation that we are good to go here. And again, you see those top goaltenders. And Sin, no real surprise when you look at the standings. You got to go down pretty far to find somebody who's not currently on a playoff team.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you expect. And this just goes to show how important goaltending is to the success of the team and how important it is for you to play for your goaltender, the 5-man defensive commitment, because a lot of that, depends on the team itself. The save percentage can be, more attributed to the goaltender, but the goals against average, it's got to be on everyone. I mean, the Northern Sapriks and FaZe have really been standouts, I feel like. McSavid, Kape, we kind of expect those guys to be at the top, but FaZe and Sapriks have really sort of wowed us thus far.
Absolutely. So again, just a few moments away from puck drop here, the first game of 2 between Ymca Esports and SJ Gaming, setting the stage about as best as we can to this point. At the end of the day, Sid, now all that's left is for the teams to go out and play here. And like we talked about, for Ymca Esports, you're in 12th, 4 points behind SJ Gaming, who are currently ahead of you. If you are going to make the playoffs, this is it. By the end of this broadcast, you will be up to 20 games played, 10 left. You drop points to SJ Gaming directly, your season might as well be over, even if neither team has been in that good of form so far. So we've talked about the key aspects here for what these teams need to do. I'm hoping that we see as close of a competitive game as it seems we're going to get on paper. But as we've discovered as of late throughout these broadcasts week in and week out, you never really know what to expect on a game-to-game basis. I mean, again, we've seen some of the top teams as well. In Havu, of course, losing 2 games in overtime. Philadelphia have lost 2 games to this point of the season as well. You drop off a little bit from there. You get the teams in 3rd, 4th, 5th. Those guys who are scrambling for one of those higher seeds. You just see how close and competitive the Elite Division is this season. Really, it could come down to any number of things in this game here that we could see another very close kind of 1-1 split, which a lot of teams have been involved in very close games this season. Or we could see a blowout, as there you see, Ymca, the Burger Boys, working together. Sin, a lot of puck-moving defensemen in this matchup.
As is, we've kind of noticed to be the meta over here in the European scene. It's the puck-moving defensemen, playmakers, especially if you're center. That -5 on the faceoffs. You don't want to use a puck mover in that position, especially with this top one. But I mean, when we're talking about, how close, this part of the standings really is, and yeah, YMCA is behind by 4 points. It doesn't seem like a lot, but often it comes down to not just point totals, but how many teams that you need to leapfrog to get into the playoffs. I mean, with how close and competitive it is, I mean, at Ymca Esports, they're looking at 3-4 teams that they have to get past. So you put yourself in a position where you not only need to win, you need to count on other teams to lose, which in a division as competitive as this is a rough position to be in.
Absolutely. So again, we are just about ready to go here. Puck drop, as mentioned, the first game of 2, Ymca and SJ going head to head. Let's see how this one goes. Ymca looking to keep their season alive. See if they're able to do so. Here's you got to look at the lineups on screen now. We'll see how this one goes. YMCA in possession early. You saw Wenger just trying to brute force it past the blue line. Very intrigued, of course, to always see how defensive teams choose to be. The battle of the blue lines in the neutral zone, so important here. In basically every game that we see in this league, that is really where success starts.
Yeah, and that was sort of an NHL 20 move, trying to move your way in using one of your own players as a screen.
Ooh, deflection just wide there. JM just not able to get all of that one like he would have hoped for. Still fighting for it around the back of the net. Terity able to handle that one, and we'll see what SJ can do here on this counter-attacking opportunity. Trying to work it through. Errant pass off the mark, easily recovered here for YMCA. A quick breakout as well. Well done here through the early stages. Tennessee running into a little bit of trouble, though. Great job to win the puck back here in the neutral zone. Quickly taken away by SJ once more. They're in the zone. Bit of space and a chance for Bunka. Just not able to find that passing option in front. Here comes YMCA one more time. The big cutback. Pass over to the defender. Working it around a little bit here. Trying to get something going. Again, down low to the center. Mosia just not able to find any space. Timothy in the corner, back to the point. Good movement. Wenger tries to shoot it on. Pass in front, scores! A slap shot off is going to be reviewed. A slap shot off the ankle. And Sen, is that going to be goalie interference?
I am not sure what the review is about. Nonetheless, it was a tremendous play by Mosia there. The patience with the puck to just kind of delay and pass it to them. Wow, I am not too sure why that one's being called back here.
A very controversial call, to say the least, denying YMCA an early goal. We thought Timothy had his 11th of the season. Still right back in on the attack here, though. We'll see if they can get it back. Does it all come out in the wash? It won't on that attempt. So a huge breaks in for SJ Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. It all looked good to me. Wow.
Big rush there up the ice, nearly springing the forward. Opportunity now holding it at the point. Koski, we know he's capable of putting up points here. Has it one more time, has a couple options. Shot on, big kick save. The rebound handled well, so a good first save there for Viltzup. Here's Wenger stepping up, draws the call as well. Yakuri going to the box. Then we talked about it for SJ. Stay out of the box. They don't do so, and we'll see YMCA go to the power play.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity for them to sort of get back what they feel like they lost. Good job by Wenger, attacking with speed and forcing a bad poke out.
Nostra wins the draw. YMCA in on the attack here. Back down low. Couple of options to the point. Slap shot. Up high. The save for Hiopoulos. Big save there early on. Sin YMCA just 2 of 18 on the power play this season. Second last in the league. They need one here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is huge. The tie-up attempt might work for them, so they are able to keep it in.
Lascia drops back to Wenger. Tried to go back in front. Pass just off the mark, and this one will be sent all the way down and bring us halfway through the man advantage here for YMCA. Let's see what they can do. We've seen some teams really struggle to even gain zone entry when they're on the man advantage. Chance here, thrown in front. Nobody there for Colpapelli on a great puck chop there. Will pretty much kill this one off. One more rush opportunity before we're back to 5-on-5. Mosia looking, has options, goes back to Colpapelli, steps in. Timothy, down low for JM. Forced to go back down behind the net. The defense was there. Stand him up on the play. Timothy fighting hard for the puck. But SJ Gaming ultimately survived that. One of the things, of course, we talked about, Sin. They have a top 4 penalty kill, do SJ. But at the end of the day, it's just not what you want to have those offensive opportunities be limited with your own mistakes. But a chance here. All the way back now to the point, and again, back down low. Both teams really trying to get that foothold in terms of cycling the puck right now. Whether or not the space is going to open is the question. Chance there for Bunka. Nobody home on the pass. A puck's thrown back to the defense off the pad of Viltzup. He'll play it out, so the action keeps going here. Mistimed at the line. They saved the offside. 4 minutes to go here in this opening frame. And it's dropped back. Gopipelia for JM. Finds Timothy. Good movement. And again, Tim, we see it. The defense for YMCA willing to step up, and a big chance there. Wenger takes it away on the poke check. We've seen SJ a couple of times now. Dangerous game from YMCA with their defense willing to step up. And SJ nearly catching them off guard.
Yeah, almost a 2-on-1 developing. It was a really good job by Wenger there to break it up and spare his goaltender that opportunity to make a save.
Final minute of play here of the first period. Still looking for our opening goal. Off pass there, off the boards, having trouble with the offensive pressure, though, down to 30 seconds. Can we find a late opening goal here? The big step up from Wenger, shut down quickly. Final 5. Curry looking for space. He won't find it. And that'll bring us to the end of the first period. No goals yet in this one, controversially, as again, Timothy denied off of a very questionable waved off goal.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of curious. He goes to goals because he expects it to perhaps be there, but I don't even know if we're going to be able to get a replay of it. But because it won't be registered as a shot, I believe, because of the callback. Although I guess we are getting a look at it here. I'm curious as to the replay doesn't. No, it's not even that play. It was very similar as Mosia behind the net, but we probably won't be able to get a look at it. I just want to know if it was like because it hit off the skate earlier or because there was contact with the goaltender. It's hard to know without kind of the game audio and everything like that. But yeah, you said it, controversial here. YMCA, they can't let that get in their head, though. It looks like they don't want to. They're attacking with speed once again. But good breakup by SJ.
Loose puck recovered there. We'll see what SJ can do on the counterattack. Here's Curry one more time, sends it back down low. And again, a little bit off the mark. You can tell SJ right now still trying to warm up in this game. The execution just not quite on point. What a feed there from Timothy, just out of the reach, though, of JM. That's still in on the attack. Timothy tries to find JM on the short side. Not able to do so. Great defense there from Tarity. But you see here, YMCA up to the task of trying to keep their season alive. Certainly not looking out of place. No nerves at this stage. They know what they have to do. Mosia recovers, and again, great start here for YMCA, controlling the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, and they're looking desperate. The defensemen are pinching probably more than usual here. That could be an issue, though.
It cost him. Bunk on the toe drag, back over, and he doesn't find the back of the net. Not sure if that was actually a stop by Viltzup or if it hit the side of the net, but regardless, a lucky break there off the defensive mistake. Bit of space here for JM, tries to cut back, and again, Tarity able to shut him down, really making his presence known. Here's a step for Curry. Glove save. Viltzup denies him another big stop. SJ Gaming looking like they're going to be able to take advantage of these counterattacking chances, Sin, but Viltzup up to the task.
Yeah, he's really bailing his team out right now, and that's the only downside, but YMCA feels like they have to force the offensive issue.
That one thrown across for SJ. Nobody home, so a good start that might keep YMCA in check. Maybe a little bit more careful defensively. Sin, like you called it out, they have been pretty aggressive. One-timer deflection bid, and Viltzup stops that one as well with the Curry on the doorstep. A set of phenomenal saves here for Viltzup in the early stages of this second period.
Yeah, absolutely. The momentum has swung back in the favor of SJ here, and they've had some prolonged offensive pressure. Another face-off win will maintain it.
Scores! Tarity from the point. Not the hardest shot we've ever seen, Sin, but far side, perfect aim from the captain. He has his 5th of the year.
Yep, and that is what happens when it's just maintaining the pressure, winning the faceoffs when we needed to. We touched on it a little bit. Oyamoska may not have the same percentage or as high as the percentage, but he just won a key draw, and off of the set play, they caught Viltzup moving to the right, the shot back to the left, and it's able to sneak in slow or not. The goalie's momentum just not enough right there, and after a series of incredible saves, unfortunately for Viltzup, that one goes in, and that called off goal looking enormous right now.
Sometimes, you make those big set of saves, and it's something like that happens to find its way to the back of the net. You get caught moving. This one just wide. Opportunity. Curry backhand. Can't put it home. What a heads-up play, though, on the quick out. And SJ nearly going 2 for 1 there. After finding that opening goal, again, you could say it's unfair to YMCA. I don't know if I'd totally disagree with you. We probably should have a 1-1 game here, but here's Timothy in. Throws it back to the point. Shot through the traffic. Doesn't go. Second chance. Goalie was down and out. Iatala went all out on that one, and fortunately, YMCA couldn't make him pay for it. So right now, just things not coming together. Here's Curry with a bit of a step. Tried to throw it back across, and it was poked away. But again, to finish that point, sometimes as a goalie said, I think we've learned the hard way here. If you get caught moving, if your feet aren't set, it is a major risk in this year's game, something a lot of goaltenders, of course, have had difficulty adjusting to. Again, they try to feed Wenger to work it in. Power play coming up again for YMCA, and that was a great look to try and find Timothy down low. Again, YMCA go to the power play now, 2 for 19 on the season, under 11%, as it will be Terry, the goal scorer, who finds himself taking the seat.
Yeah, and this is pretty much a must-score situation for YMCA Esports. It starts with a face-off. We'll see what they can do, work their down-low cycle, and look for those defensemen to creep into the high slot for those one-timers.
Not able to clear it out. YMCA on the attack shot, onto the big save there by Hiatala. Again, unable to clear the puck here, though. Great pressure from YMCA on the man advantage. Wenger can't get the shot through. Loose puck is recovered by Mossian. Back to the D. Opportunity here. Has a couple of options. Rifles a pass on net. That one doesn't find its way home either. Timothy down low. Banks it off the half wall. Recovered again by the defense. Great pressure here. That shot off the side of the net. And it bounces out of play. So an unfortunate break for YMCA there.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. The faceoff does stay in the zone, so it might have gone off the goaltender. I'm not too sure, but that was a good test on that short side as Hiatala was beginning to move.
Good face-off play. Better defense from Curry there. The winger forced to drop back and help out. Chance slap shot again off the skates. Wenger just not able to get the shots. The rifle pass. Loose puck kicked out to the corner. SJ still unable to clear. They find a pass and a little bit of space. That brings us back to 5-on-5. Here's Terry fresh out of the box. Fighting for it. Loose puck. Still loose. And ultimately recovered by Vilta. SJ Gaming nearly turning defense into offense in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that would have been disastrous for YMCA Esports. It was essentially 3-on-1 down low on the forecheck. They couldn't get the loose puck. The attack the other way. The man came out of the box as well, and Viltsup remained strong and covered that puck up despite it being a hot potato bouncing all over the place.
3 minutes to go here in the second period of this game. And 1-0 lead for SJ, looking to put YMCA in the rear view mirror and essentially knock them out of playoff contention. A big day today. Again, the first game of two. Huge hip check there to keep the puck alive. Follow-up hit. One-timer just a little bit wide of the post. We still have Curry down. Almost a man advantage here for YMCA on the rush. Wenger back across for JM. Just not able to go anywhere. A chop goes the other way. Curry, the big spin shot and a kick save by Viltsup with 5 seconds to go. That will bring us to the end of the second period. Then ultimately, really a fun period to call there, all things considered. Again, unfortunate break for YMCA to have that goal called off in the first. SJ take advantage. They're up 1-0. Both teams, though, you could argue, unfortunate to only have one goal in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, SJ's had chances. YMCA, especially on that last play, it looked like Hiatala was looking for the backdoor pass. Instead, it went behind. He had slid all the way over to screen left, and I don't know if JM saw it in time, but he didn't pull the trigger on the shot. Perhaps looking for a pass, but he had a almost wide open right side of the net to shoot at. And unfortunate for them, didn't pull the trigger. And SJ Gaming, I mean, we saw their goal, bit of a fortunate one, all things considered, when you're looking at the amount of chances that each of these guys have had. But we'll see what happens in the second here, the third here. This is desperation time for YMCA Esports.
Absolutely, they win the puck back here. Fast-moving game since, so easy to be confused, I'd say, or to misspeak about what period it is. It's been kind of the common theme throughout games this year. Incredibly fast-paced with the trap. Maybe not being as prevalent as it used to be. Regardless, here comes YMCA in the zone one more time. Quickly poked away, and a great follow-up poke check there. A scramble for the puck. Both teams just one more poke check away. One big hit away there from finding that open space that they need. Marcia leaves it in, or brings it into the zone here. Throws it across, opportunity on. And Hiatala makes the save. It's a tough one to stop there. Two players that could have been on the receiving end of that pass.
Yeah, and I believe it was Kopi Pelia getting the shot. It might have hit something. It didn't look like he had a ton of power on that, and that could have been trouble for Hiatala there. A bit fortunate. He was sliding across, but with those in-tight one-timers, they can just find a corner and go in. So YMCA, man. Oh, no.
Face for you. Curry breakaway. Scores! The main man for SJ strikes again that quickly. A little bit of space to break away. He leads his team in goals. That's his 16th of the season.
And that is the story of the game so far for YMCA Esports. They put so much into offense. A chance doesn't quite go their way. Something happens. SJ Gaming coming back the other way. And we've seen Curry there a couple times sort of get the step on the break-in, and that time making no mistake. Just the space he needed to tuck that one home. 2-0 for SJ Gaming, and YMCA situation looking even more dire now.
Honestly, that's one that Builtsup would probably want back, giving up the short side there. Maybe not trusting in the defense as Curry nearly found his way through one more time. Timothy not able to hold this one, and again, for YMCA, you're going to look back at that goal and say, what if? But as Sin mentioned, at this point, dire straits. Big play here by Bunka to win it back. Drops it back. Muska not able to find his way through. Curry intercepts it again. He's had a phenomenal game here. It's a down low to Bunka. No pass there as Wenger's able to knock that one away. 12.5 minutes to go. 12.5 minutes away from YMCA trailing SJ by 6 points. Shot, loose puck, no! The second chance doesn't go. Moska just not able to get a shot off cleanly. Not the best or most favorable animation there, Sin.
Yeah, it was one of those leaning, off-balance, slower shots. He ends up taking it from behind the net, and geez, Ymca Esports just seem like they can't buy a break right now.
And a half one-timer catches him up high. Kopi Pelia somehow unable to bury that one. Another big save by Hiatala. Sin, pretty much call it out. Asking you shall receive. Talking about not being able to score. Immediately, we see another huge glove stop by Hiatala, but here's another turnover. JM throws it in front, and again, it doesn't go. The opportunities are there. They just can't find the back of the nets. SJ back in possession here. One more goal would most certainly be the dagger. Curry has it poked away, and a bit of space there quickly taken away. JM had nowhere to go. Here comes Bunka down the other side for SJ. Opportunity here, protecting the puck well. Gets it back over to Curry. Shot to the traffic, doesn't find its way through. Opportunity, loose puck in front. Wenger still recovers. Now under 7.5 to go. Timothy finds JM. Self-sauce to find space. And a pass from Wenger just can't find its way through. Down the back again, JM. A wraparound bid doesn't go. They're throwing everything at the wall to see what will stick here. Timothy back down low one more time. Opportunity, he scores! No review on that one. Timothy finds the back of the net when they needed it the most. And it was another broken play that led to the opportunity. Tried to send it down and around. Gets it back, though, and makes no mistake on the short side.
Yep, that was a perfect play by Timothy right there. They're looking to just take shots right there. I love the crank up of desperation from Ymca Esports. They understand the situation they're in. And as you mentioned, throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. That time it's the short side shot, and they're right back in here on the attack. Timothy's
11th goal in 17 games now this season. 5 minutes to play for YMCA. This one will be offside. Again, a called off goal in the first period. The standout here, aside from some great saves from Hiatala, and of course some big defensive stops as well from SJ, but this is still very much up for grabs here. Let's see if SJ can hold on. 4 minutes to play now, and they're in possession. A near turnover there, having a little bit of trouble. Great forechecking pressure from JM. This one's poked away by Wenger and still fighting for it now. JM comes up with it and draws the penalty. A rough play again from the captain, who will go back to the box. And this is the season right here.
Yeah, good job by JM understanding that situation. We'll see what the YMCA power play is going to do here.
Wenger tries the short side pass, doesn't go, has it again. Nowhere to go for Kopapelia. Wenger again down low to Timothy. Finds Mosia. Timothy back to the centerman. Shot blocked down. Centerman again has it. Can't feed it through. About halfway through this power play. Timothy can't hold on to it, and it's cleared down by Bunka. Bring us to about 2 minutes left here once they're on the rush. And YMCA need this one, or they are 6 points back of SJ, who are directly ahead of them in the standings. Wenger, shot blocker, stopped by Hiatala. Recovered by SJ and cleared all the way down. That'll bring us back to 5-on-5. One of the keys, SJ take a lot of penalties, but they have a strong kill. Final minute of play here. Have they avoided disaster? YMCA let them off the hook. Great forechecking pressure here, but is it too little too late? Stretch pass. Oyamoska with space. Can't get it across. Good defense there from JM. And here come YMCA one more time. 40 seconds left in this one, but it will be offside. And Sim will see the quick timeout.
Yeah, and I believe on that blocker save that you mentioned, I heard a ring as well, so it might have hit off the post, maybe a little bit of both. But again, YMCA Esports just that close, and a tough break right there. Masia trying to get the L skating, trying to time it right so he can maintain control of the blue line. Doesn't happen right there, but it does give them the ability to call their timeout here. Neutral zone faceoff, probably not what they want in this situation, but there are some set plays you could do. The tie up off the draw, you send the guy in from the boards, you can send the defenseman streaking down that side, maybe catch the opponent defenseman off guard, get yourself a quick break in. There's a variety of things that YMCA can try here, but they need Masia to win this draw.
A gigantic face-off, the biggest of the season. It's won by Ymca. SJ with possession, 38 to go. Stumped in by Terity. Big bounce there off the end boards. It is ultimately recovered. YMCA with a step. Curry, another big defensive play. Big poke check. SJ still in control. 25 seconds to play. Pass up to Masia. Looking, spin. Can't find his way through. Still fighting for it. Good composure by Terity, but he ultimately turns it over. No! Curry comes up with it. Has a bit of space to send it down low to Bunka. Final 9. One more rush for YMCA Esports. The pass is off the mark. 2 seconds left. Bunka doesn't get the shot off. And Sin, that is a dagger in the heart of YMCA Esports. SJ Gaming, hold on. Maybe a bit more lucky than good in some regards, but regardless, they get the job done. SJ Gaming now again moving 6 points clear. 21 points to YMCA's 15. And that as well puts SJ right on the cusp, perhaps, of making the playoffs. Again, 5 points back of Northern Ascendancy, our 8th seed entering play today. They are within striking distance. And for YMCA, it's looking like a dire situation now.
Yeah, and that's one of those games where the puck luck kind of wasn't your way at the end. There's so many opportunities there where YMCA was forechecking. They're getting incidental contact. They were getting pokes. They were getting bumps. They were getting hits. And every time it just seemed to go back to the stick of an SJ player. And I know that feeling all too well. It can be incredibly frustrating. Combine that with the disallowed goal, with the advantage in time on attack, with the, not the advantage in shots, but sometimes it felt like the advantage in opportunities for YMCA Esports, and they can't come away with the victory. And that's one where in a normal circumstance, you could just toss it out being like, okay, it didn't fall our way. But in this situation, that could be your season, and that makes it all the more heartbreaking for them.
I mean, again, now YMCA, 19 games out of 30 played, 15 points. They entered play today 9 points back of a playoff spot. You see why we kind of have the somber mood when it comes to their status this season. It is going to be incredibly difficult from this point on to get into the playoffs. Not mathematically eliminated by any means, of course, I would say. I mean, again, with the amount of games that you have left here, the hopes are there, the chance is there. But certainly, they will need to look to regroup heading in to this next game. Certainly, Sin, I mean, if your playoff hopes weren't, in that rough spot at this stage, you certainly need to win that next game. So we'll see what happens. Again, we're going to step out for a quick 5 to 10 second break. Who's to say? We'll be right back after a word from our lovely sponsor. It is Wilhelm.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
And Sin, again, one of these days, we will get our hands on those. Not like I need them, but at the end of the day, we'll still get our hands on them. So again, Sin, we look ahead now. Hopefully it won't be too big of a break between the second game here. Again, YMCA and SJ have another game that they are going to play at the standard home and home, of course, that we have every match day for these teams. And again, don't forget, at the conclusion of the series will be a brief intermission, then we'll step into our second bit of action for the day. It is hREDS and Team Leisure. Again, hREDS right now trying to secure a top 3 spot. Team Leisure, on the other hand, in a very similar situation to what we're seeing with YMCA right now, where they need wins and they need them desperately. So, Sin, looking here now, let's talk about, I suppose, first, what SJ needs to do to seal this one walk away with all 4 points, effectively kill YMCA's playoff hopes, and really give themselves a much better chance of making the postseason here. Who stood out for you in that game, and who needs to step it up a little bit?
Yakuri, I think, was their standout player. Now, he was the beneficiary of a lot of good stretch passes and YMCA Esports, their aggression, but that's exactly what SJ Gaming needs to do as a whole. They are understanding what situation, especially now that YMCA is in, they're going to be even more aggressive. They have to. So SJ Gaming really has to feed that counterattack. For the most part, I really liked what Terity was doing defensively, but there were times where he took 2 penalties in that game. As a defenseman, as the captain, you don't want to do that when your team's trying to stay out of the box. Yes, your penalty kill is good, but against a team as desperate as YMCA Esports with the offensive tools they have, you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So I'm not going to call out Terry DC. He needs to improve. I'm just, maybe in those situations where JM, he was guarding the puck on the boards, maybe just try to gap him, lay the body instead of going ham with that stick there, because it will get your team into trouble. It could cost your team points at this point in the season.
Absolutely. And again, you talk about it for SJ Gaming, like we said at the start of this broadcast, man, they started off their season 4-0, and this is just their 5th win since. Of course, entered play today at 8-7-3, now up to 9-7-3. That looks a little bit better. Known for having a losing record in close games, but of course they do walk away with the win there. Now, I want to, of course, turn our attention to YMCA Esports, who again have now lost 10 of their last 11 games. The season started off, obviously, so promisingly at this stage, but obviously just a nosedive for this team that I don't know if they're going to be able to recover from. So ultimately, we saw it from them. I don't necessarily want to say who stands out for you because, I think there were some notable bright spots for the lineup throughout. Whether it be the defense being that extra bit aggressive like you really needed to be, you might as well risk it to try and make it happen. But again, as you get a look at the lineups here between these two teams, I mean, Tim, what's it going to take for YMCA here to, get the goals that they desperately need to, again, just try to get things back on track? They're in the bottom half of the table in terms of goals for, goals against, in terms of most allowed. And again, we saw that power play. They had a couple of opportunities, had some decent looks, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. What's it going to take?
A little bit of puck luck. I really didn't hate their game. I mean, they did what they had to do. There were some breakdowns between Wenger and Kopipelia on the back end, but that's just simply a byproduct of their desperation. And SJ Gaming was just simply good enough and recognized it enough to capitalize on it. Yeah, and they got some good bounces here. You can't really sugarcoat it, especially at the end with the forecheck. YMCA, they probably deserved a few more turnovers, but deserve or not, the entitlement doesn't matter when it comes to hockey. It's all about where you are. It's all about when you get those bounces, what you need to do with them. So yes, they could get some bounces, but oftentimes you have to make your own luck. So YMCA, it's all in the line now. Again, I didn't hate their game, but maybe look out. Try to contain Yakuri a bit more because he snuck through the defense a little bit too much for my liking. Even if you're being aggressive, someone's got to keep an eye on him.
I mean, absolutely. I can't disagree with anything you said there, Sin. Again, taking a look at the player lineups, a lot of puck-moving defensemen, which, of course, has been the meta on the European side of things. The speed, that extra defensive ability. Then, of course, Sin, I mean, you'll have the argument, of course, that we've always had when it comes to having human goaltenders. You don't exactly need the most ridiculous shooting accuracy in the world. So it's not really a surprise to see this be the most prevalent build. Playmakers as well, aplenty. We are ready to go. Puck drop here, the second game of 2 between these two teams. It is YMCA in white, SJ in the red and black. And we'll see how this one plays out. If YMCA desperately needed points from that first game, I don't know, Sin, how you want to describe how badly they need points in this one.
I mean, if they lose here, anything can happen, but you're putting your fate in the hands of others if they lose here. They're kind of already in that position, but a win here would still sort of keep them in the fight.
Sponka tried to throw that one back in front. Off the mark. Bit of space here for JM on the other side. Toe drag off the pad. Bumped off the puck there. Good interception, though, to keep it alive. Timothy stepping in now. Slap shot on. Good try. Testing Hiat a little bit. He's able to make that save as well. See again, good movement there, but a great interception from Kopipelia. From YMCA down the other side one more time. Masha drops it back. Jam across to Timothy. He scores. So this time it worked out. the early goal for YMCA. No controversy on this one, and they get the exact start that they needed. Timothy with his 12th of the year.
Yeah, and Timothy, the recipient of an absolutely brilliant and smart play by JM. He feeds the puck through to Masia on the break-in, and then what he does is drop behind, opens himself up for the drop pass, which he does, feeds it over to Timothy, catches SJ Gaming over pursuing right there, and they get the opening goal because of it. Huge play, and without JM doing what he does on that play, completely not possible. What awareness.
A tremendous start, the most ideal start you could have had for YMCA. JM entered play today as the outright point leader on the team, but also specifically the assist leader as well. So no real surprise. The big stretch pass there off the mark. Goaltender plays it and gets that pass out to Tarity. Looking to lead it down the other way. Yakuri, burst of speed. Can't get it on the glove side. Second chance. Puck is still loose. Bunko with a great job there to throw that one back on. But it's Viltza able to stand tall. Make some crucial saves there. Shockingly, this one's onside. Timothy, though, the follow-up pass was a little bit off the mark. Might have caught him off guard. That play was still onside. As he nearly intercepted that one, it will be offside on the other side of the ice here. 12:16 remaining here in the first period.
Yeah, and like clockwork, it's Yakuri getting another chance, getting behind the defenseman here, sort of becoming a trend, and a trend that YMCA, especially with a lead now, don't want to see become the norm in this game.
Big stretch pass there, a little bit off the mark, and YMCA again will recover this one here. Puck ping-pongs around a little bit. YMCA still in possession now. The big step up there. We see the neutral zone battle sim becoming a little bit more present. YMCA, trying to be a little bit more defensive here, I'd say. Pays off there with the interception, but there's the pressure from SJ. Poked away. Great recovery there by Kopatelia. Tough to really stick with that play, given how much the puck is bouncing around. As Wenger sends it down low. Follow-up pass from Mossy just a little bit off the mark. Again, now a very fast-moving first period. Under 9 minutes to go here in this opening frame. SJ trying to work it through. Timothy's able to step up to knock it loose, but still they're fighting for it. And Sin, you see it how many times. Puck knocked loose, poked away, goes right back to the same team. Very difficult to get control of the puck here in this first period, as this one will go down for icing.
Yep, and YMCA with an offensive zone face-off right here. And yeah, you mentioned it, that the trap game's sort of becoming more prevalent, and that will sort of work to YMCA's advantage here with the lead, but they still got to be careful. Yakuri just seems to be able to find a way in no matter what.
High up off the draw, back to the point, shot on, kick save there by Hiatola. Not the most dangerous shot in the world, but still, any shot on, you never quite know in this game. As Masia has it, drops back to Wenger at the point. Looking, throws it across. Nearly found its intended target. Back to the point. Wenger looking again. You saw that first game, he was willing to shoot a little bit more. He's being a lot more patient in this one so far. This one intercepted around the back of the net there by Koski. He's been a little bit quiet in this one. This one banked off the back of the net here, fighting for it. Masia comes up with it. Again, goes back to the point. Great offensive zone time here. There's that extra bit of aggressiveness from SJ. Nearly paid off. Timothy was able to get that shot off there. The scrambles for the loose puck right now has been really the theme of the first period.
Yeah, and YMCA, the recipient of the possessions now. They're getting those slightly better bounces, and they're, attacking it. They're having a bit more patience instead of running around willy-nilly. They're able to look for where that loose puck might go and be the ones to pounce on it, and that is leading to some extended zone times and SJ Gaming getting caught in their own end, which is not where they want to be, but down by one here.
We saw a different look from them, too, on that last possession, trying the dump and chase, but YMCA still in possession here. Timothy banks it off the side of the net, draws a call in the process. So again, SJ, we know they struggle to stay out of the box. Entered play today with the 5th most penalty minutes taken out of 16 teams with the YMCA power play. 0 for 2 in that first game. Can they find the back of the net here? JM tries to pick the top corner glove side. Hiatola able to make the stop.
He had Timothy on that far side, but elected not to try to force that pass through it, as it would have had to clear 2 red jerseys right there. So probably the safe play.
Face off one in the defensive zone, but the clearance off the mark. Wenger holding it, tried to throw it back in. Flex and Tarity able to recover that one and send it all the way down. Time for one more rush. 5 seconds to go here. Do they have time to pull something off? Masha goes back to Timothy, nowhere to go. That will bring us to the end of this first period, but certainly a more ideal start for YMCA, getting the opening goal, and Sin holding SJ to just one shot. It was a tremendous chance for Curry, but ultimately, again, the start that they needed.
Absolutely, and we can see just what YMCA is capable of right here. They held SJ Gaming to not only that one shot, but a mere, I believe I saw 25 seconds of time on attack. So really, it was a counterattack from SJ. YMCA all over them right now, playing the game that they want, getting rewarded with some of the better bounces here, something that they probably wish would have happened in the last game, but here they cannot make a mistake. They're going to have to extend this lead. One goal is not going to be enough. It doesn't matter how few of shots and how little time on attack that you hold SJ Gaming to with the amount of talent they have up front, especially with Yakuri, who is able to find his way through. They can always strike.
So again, the power play goes to work. Shot on, and again cleared out by Tarity, able to make that play. 28 to go. Big hit there. Defenseman down and injured. Kopipelia. SJ not able to take advantage there. He's back to his feet, but that really hindered YMCA power play, who again now Sin down to 2 out of 21 on the season, if I'm not mistaken. That's been the theme here that we've seen for a lot of teams outside or on the edge of the playoff structure, is just not being able to get that power play going.
Yeah, and it's not a recipe for success, and it's tough when you have to, start the, a bit of the power play on center ice between periods right here. It's fortunate for SJ Penalty Killers being able to split that up and starting in the neutral zone, but nonetheless, yeah, I mean, YMCA just... something's not working on the man advantage.
Trying to work their way through the neutral zone here. At the very least, they do have the lead in this game. Bit of space here for JM. A good recovery there. Masha, though, able to keep it alive. We're going to go all the way back to the point. Kopipelia able to get the pass there to Timothy, but he's having trouble. Finds Masha down low. Back in front. Timothy just not able to get that shot off. Great recovery by the defense. Bunko with a burst of speed. Back to the point. Quick shot. Blocked down in front. Interception off the post. Second chance is denied by Viltup. Sin, the turnovers nearly costing YMCA there. Bunka denied by the iron.
Yeah, ill-advised right there from Masya, trying to force the pass through, and guess who it was to force the turnover? Yakuri finding Bunka in the slot, who hits the post.
One-timer off the blocker there, nearly knocked down by a high stick of Yakuri. And another opportunity here on the rush for YMCA, taken away. Mosca doing a great job of getting back. He finds the pass to Yakuri, the ill-advised step-up. He has space, stops off the pads, and Bunka, another chance there on the far side. Both wingers nearly finding pay dirt here on that opportunity. Again, still in possession, tries to throw it across, off the pad, and covered by Viltupson. We're seeing it from SJ, a lot of those well-charged rocket passes through the crease, and it's nearly paying off.
Yeah, and YMCA, some aggression that I don't think needs to come out from the defenseman right there. Wenger with the poke and choke, almost led to a goal.
Koski tries to get that one through, loose puck. YMCA in control of it. JM trying to lead it up the ice, tried to send it down low. Great job there by Tarity. Gets in trouble with that stick work sometimes. Paid off there. Here's Yakuri one more time. The toe drag. Moving into the zone. Tarity stepping up. Having a little bit of trouble with Timothy there. But SJ still in control of this one. Yakuri looking, having a little bit of trouble there. Here's Timothy with the step. The big cutback. JM has it. Runs into the other winger, though. Just the space not there. The defense doing a great job forcing the two wingers into one another, as SJ still in possession now here on this one with some slick movement. Away one more time, though. Timothy just nowhere to go. Tarity a little bit more on point in this game with the defensive skill stick attempts. Wenger looks to find space. Poked away off the stick of Moshin. It'll be forced one more time to the drop back and reset. See what happens here, though, over the blue line. Knocked off the puck. SJ trying to get something going here, trying to work their way into the zone. That pass off the mark, no icing call. Oh yeah, probably expecting the puck pickup there, just wasn't there. Play here in the second. A little bit of space here for Timothy. Drops back to Wenger across, intercepted though. Great pick off there. Burst of speed down the other way for SJ. Goaltenders doing a great job though of shutting that one down. So both teams a lot of end-to-end play. Turnover here though. Yakuri looking. Has a few options, goes back to the point. Tarity has it poked away. Then just a lot of broken plays here, but one opportunity is all it's going to take. Mosca has that one knocked away from him. Turnover here. Opportunity off the pad. Probably not the pass that Yakuri was looking for. It's an incredible back and forth action here.
Yeah, YMCA need to settle it down right now. A lot of forced turnovers right here. Wenger having a lot of trouble right now. In the offensive zone, turned it over, holding the puck too long. Defensive zone, he's had some rough plays. He's getting caught. He just needs to settle it down. Maybe he's playing, you know, a bit out of his comfort zone with how aggressive YMCA feel like they need to be with their season on the line.
Timothy drops down to the JM. Opportunity from Mostia to pass off the mark. Final 2 minutes here of this second period. Back in possession here, at least for the moment. Pass one more time, finding Yakari, forced to drop it back though. And we saw in the first period, you know, both teams able to get that consistent offensive pressure. Great bounce here, thrown in front, and an opportunity that YMCA might be looking back at. Mosca just not able to find the back of the net on that one. That was a tremendous heads-up play. As this one will go for icing with 0.4 remaining. Not enough time to do anything, so that will bring us to the end of the second period. And Sin, yet again, we say, surprising to see the score this low.
Yeah, just 1-0 with the amount of hectic plays happening, the amount of chances that both teams are getting. The goaltenders doing their darndest to keep both of their teams in a position to win, but got to give a bit of a shout out here to Kopi Pelia for YMCA Esports. He's had some incredible stick work to break up some of these odd mans and potential odd mans here, sort of, you know, bailing out his team after they get caught too far up the ice, trying to keep the offense alive, but that seems to be what YMCA wants to do. They shouldn't be too much in desperation mode. Yes, you want to build on that lead here, but you don't want to sacrifice too much defense for offense at this point. That being said, easier said than done against a team like SJ, who's very aggressive, very good counterattacking. Yakari has just been a menace in pretty much all 3 zones on the ice.
So here we go, third period underway. YMCA in desperate need of 2 points here, not to benefit themselves, to help deny SJ Gaming the opportunity to find their way into the playoff structure. Here's a bit of space. Backhand scores! That quickly. The mood can change. The situation can change. Oyamoska, with all the space in the world, finds his 4th goal of the season. And then it's a whole new ball game.
Yep, once again, the defensive YMCA Esports failed to pick up that guy on the odd man, and it leads to another in-tight opportunity. Viltsup has faced a few of these. I mean, at this point, it's got to be about 4 or 5. That one coming from Oyamoska, who's able to bury it. The game is all tied up, and YMCA Esports, once again, finding themselves in a sticky situation here. What can they do to respond?
The picture-perfect start here for SJ. A little bit of speed there, nearly working his way through the defense on that attempt as well. That was Koski stepping up. See what YMCA do in response. Unfortunately, that one offside for them. And Sin, as you mentioned, that defensive breakdown, we've seen it a couple of times for YMCA. SJ have been able to exploit it. This time, though, they're able to find that goal.
Yeah, and, you know, a couple times happening, you could chalk it up to, you know, getting caught or someone, you know, getting the better of you, but it's seeming to become a trend in this matchup right now, and that's the advantage SJ has. Knowing the position YMCA's in, they can just kind of wait for them to make a mistake at times.
Someone getting the best of you. Dave Grohl, Michael Scott. Pass in front, big stop there. Second chance, not able to find its way through. Good look there for YMCA in response. They're going to need more of that here. Again, pressure on now that we are in a tie situation here. As Timothy throws that one off the pads. Goes all the way up to Wenger at the point. Able to hold that one in. JM fighting for it here. Double teamed. Timothy again, great job on the forecheck. He's going to force the clear out here. This one will go down for icing. Big offensive zone chance here.
Yeah, good forecheck from YMCA, and right there, that shot was just a product of, I believe, trying to keep the bumps going because Timothy was being a menace right there, almost getting that turd over here, but a good chance for Mosia to win this draw, keep the offensive dream alive, but Oyamoska has done a good job of winning some of these key draws.
9-8 in faceoffs in favor of YMCA, and Mosia, who has the puck here, over gigantic stop by Hiatala, may have hit the pipe as well from that angle, and a wrist shot wired on by Kopi Pelia, and the space just not there. As we said, Hiatala needed to step up today. He's been immense for SJ when called upon.
Absolutely, and Wenger, what a time to pinch in right there. The aggression paying off with the one-time opportunity. Unfortunately, just a monumental save from Hiatala, keeping this game tied.
Power of the Tash. SJ in the zone here. Let's see what they can do. Valkyrie looking around, nowhere to go. Feeds Bonka. Great patience on display here. Curry's pass back to the point doesn't go. Jam trying to find a little bit of space. Charity is a terror defensively in the transition game. Like I said, he got into penalty trouble primarily in that first game, but a much better start here. We are halfway through this third period. Again, we thank you very much for joining us here for some ECL Elite Division action. Of course, in the regular season, you can catch us here every Monday, Wednesday, and in finish on Thursdays. We'll have more details for you about action that you can catch a little bit later on in this week. And again, after the conclusion of this game, don't go anywhere. It's hREDS and Team Leisure in action as well. And NHLGamer.com for every bit of information, all the information that you may need. Again, the ECL Elite Division Season 11, brought to you by Wilhelm. Chance here, Timothy back to Jam, backhand, trying to go 5-hole, and another big, if not gigantic stop for Hiatala. 7 minutes to go here now in the third. Jam in the zone, bit of patience on display, knocked away though by Koski. Chance here, Yakari with a little bit of space to play with here. Gets it back, big stop, may have been blocked down, but regardless, Philpsup is able to cover and have an offensive zone draw for SJ.
Yep, good positioning by Kopi Pellia right there, sort of taking away the far side there if the shot went there, you know, kind of getting the body in the lane. So good awareness by him, also holding up and waiting for a possible one-time opportunity with the other forwards circling around the net.
High up on the play, SJ still in possession. What a passing display and a bigger kick save from Philpsup. Again, thrown in front, loose puck is there. Wenger, big play there to take away a tremendous opportunity. Pass back, Timothy in front, tries to pull a backhand and just lost it off the goaltender. Masya incredibly unlucky to not have a goal here. Wenger to Timothy, back to Masya, he scores! He was due, and YMCA re-grabbed the lead late in the third period.
Sometimes the puck doesn't lie, and right there, Masya does get rewarded for his efforts. The first chance, just unable to pull the trigger with Hiatala seemingly down and out, gets repaid right there. The beautiful pass over for the one-time opportunity, making no mistake. Very little chance for Hiatala to be able to read that one. He had two threats to worry about. The left, I think it was JM on the left side, and obviously Masya on the right side, and the pass from Timothy went to him. The one-time opportunity in the net. We're seeing a timeout here, I believe, probably from SJ Gaming, and this is huge. This is what YMCA needed. Now what they need to do is not be too aggressive. Aggression is still good, but make sure you don't allow Yakari or Oyamoska to sneak in.
Might have been the worst situation for both teams. In a 1-1 split, each team only walks away with 2 points. Honestly, that's not the ideal situation. You want to walk away with points, but both teams were really hoping to take all the points today. We'll see what happens here. 2 minutes to play for YMCA to hold on. SJ really going to put the pressure on now, obviously, as Bunka not able to hold on to that one. Look at the defense pinching in, but ultimately YMCA recover as we approach the final minute. Wenger having trouble there on the step up, still fighting for it now, going down the other way, and Timothy's able to come up with it now under 55 to play. YMCA in possession. They're able to find the lanes. Jam has it poked away there by Terity. Bunka on the off wing has trouble. Bit of space here, perhaps. Timothy trying to draw the call. It was unfortunate to not get one off of Koski there. Was able to intercept that one. Now 35 to go. A pass from Yamalska off the mark. Struggling for it in the neutral zone here. SJ able to come up with it. Bunka has it poked away. The outlet to Timothy wasn't there. He would have been all alone. Wenger drops back. The outlet does not go there. Masya having a little bit of trouble. Recovered here. Shot just wide by Yakuri. Power play coming up for SJ. 10 seconds to go. Shot on. Kick save. Loose puck still alive. Shot just wide by Hiatala. The opportunity here. 3 seconds to go. It is cleared. Thought it was a delayed Carlson. Ultimately, it was the empty net. Regardless, the result is the same. YMCA recover and pick up a huge 2 points off of SJ Gaming. A 1-1 split for both of these teams.
Yeah, and almost sort of a disservice to both of these guys who both played good enough to win either one of these games. And, you know, in a perfect world, they each would have won one with both of them going to overtime, coming out with 3 points apiece. But instead, you know, those points left on the table, 2 points apiece. And it's a heartbreaker knowing that maybe one of these teams or maybe both of them may not be in the playoffs. With the amount of effort we saw with the aggression coming out, the desperation, you could just see and sense how much these two guys want it. And a split in the series, I mean, it's about as To be expected with a matchup this close, and good man, it's just what an incredible matchup we got to saw. Much lower scoring than it probably could have been, but Viltsup and Hiatala, we both spoke about how clutch they can be, how good they can be, proving it in this matchup here with some big saves, perhaps none bigger than some of the ones Hiatala came up with is in the second one. And then oddly enough, ironically, they lose that game in the first one. Viltsup coming up with some of those huge saves and them losing that game. So NHL's a funny game like that, but nonetheless, an incredible matchup. We're getting another look at that one-time goal. What a blast.
The game-winning goal you saw there from Masia, again stepping in to the Elite Division and this lineup this season, and that is his 6th of the year. No bigger at this stage of the season. So again, YMCA moving up to 17 points, SJ at 21 points. Neither total enough to break into the top 8 into the playoff structure, at least from the point totals that we had entering play today. It was Northern Ascendancy with 24 points in 8th. Of course, we will have all of the updated totals for you a little bit later on in this broadcast. We'll get you a look at the latest results, the current league standings as well. And of course, we'll be back here after a brief intermission to set the stage. Again, hREDS and Team Leisure going head-to-head. hREDS trying to secure a playoff spot, a top 3 spot ideally, and for Team Leisure trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. So again, we'll be back after a very brief intermission. Don't go anywhere. More ECL Elite Division action coming at you in just a few minutes.
Parasta purtavaa kauden kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
And again, we are back. Welcome, everybody. We are back for our second matchup of the day here on NHL Gamer. Again, ECL Elite Division action. We thank you, of course, if you stuck with us through that brief intermission. For those that didn't, you might regret it because we have two very interesting games coming up here. Again, it is hREDS going up against Team Leisure. Now, Sin, of course, always intrigued to see how this is going to go when you have a team in the playoff structure against a team that's on the outs, because you would presume that you're likely to see a very one-sided affair, but something's got to give with Team Leisure. They are a very interesting team to watch, as of course we will get into. So it's going to be fun to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, we got to cover them last week here, and we both kind of mentioned how this wasn't the Team Leisure that we are used to seeing. It just seemed like something was off, that they had a lot more to give. So I'm eager to see how they'll do and bounce back here against a very tough opponent in hREDS. And if you're hREDS, you got to be careful. You can't look at this record and play down to your opponent. That's a trap that a lot of teams, some of even the top teams, can fall into. You can't do that today.
Absolutely. So again, let's get you a quick look at what's going on around the league, the updated standings after those early matchups here today. As you get a look, of course, most of these teams, going to be anywhere from 18 to 22 games played. You see hREDS down into 5th at the moment because of the game played a little bit earlier on today by Färjestad. I believe their second game currently going on right now, or right about now as well. So again, as we talked about, a constantly evolving situation, just 4 points separating the 3 seed from the 8th seed. And then again, you look on the right-hand side, 22 points for Ymca Esports behind the 25 of Roots. But you see they have 3 games at hand. So as we have talked about, it is a constantly evolving situation. But Sin, the big issue for Team Leisure in this matchup, they have already played 22 games on just 15 points. Their playoff hopes likely down, but playing for pride cannot be underrated, I would say, as a factor in this game.
Yeah, and playing to stay out of one of those relegation positions. I mean, this isn't the NHL. There's no need to tank. In fact, you do not want to tank because that puts you in a position to get bumped out of this top division. So Team Leisure, they still have a lot to fight for. I mean, yeah, sure, the season playoff-wise may in fact be over. I mean, anything can happen, but again, they're in a position where you need a lot of teams to lose and you need to win. It's not really where you want to be, but yeah, playing for pride, playing to stay out of that relegation position, and perhaps playing to prove to themselves that they are a better team than this, because you and I, both know it. We know what they can give. And it seems like, so far they haven't really been able to show that.
Absolutely. So again, you look at a newly promoted team like Dark Horse down there in the bottom spot, you better take advantage of those games at hand that you have on the teams that are currently ahead of you. So let's get down to business here. Let's take a look at the matchup here. Again, hREDS and Team Leisure, the stats for these two teams you see on your screen now. Heading into this series today, Team Leisure in their last 4, 0 for 4 with just one overtime loss. They have lost their last 5 games while playing for their playoff lives. So a brutal situation for them. hREDS on the flip side, a perfect 4-0 for beating fellow playoff contenders in Vesapampa. They outscored them 6-2 over the course of those 2 games, a 2-0 shutout win in that second game, and they swept Ymca Esports as well, a team on the outside looking in. hREDS right now, Sim, tied in points with Vesapampa and Farjestad heading into the action today, but they are also at risk. I mean, again, we talked about how close it is right now in the standings, so every point matters here. This is a matchup that they should look to win, and obviously you see the gigantic difference in offense versus defensive stats there. It's a very rough situation for Team Leisure heading into this matchup on paper.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, it's kind of looking like an opposite thing. The goals for hREDS comparable to the goals against from Team Leisure, vice versa for the goals against compared to Team Leisure's goal for. I mean, on paper, the matchup looks incredibly grim for Team Leisure. That being said, hREDS have an opportunity here to really kind of not pick. There's no easy points, but here's an opportunity to pick up some important points to give themselves perhaps some separations, a better seeding when it comes to the playoffs.
Absolutely. So with that, let's take a look at the team lineups for this matchup today. For Team Leisure, up front, we have Krinka, Playmaker SJ, and again, it's Psycho Skills up top, most notably a defenseman for the team that has been playing forward due to the absence of one of their key players in Profane Kiss. Defensively, of course, we have seen Gazelle step up into this lineup here alongside Frankie, the captain, who was normally playing left defense with Psycho Skills on the right. So the changes in the lineup certainly haven't helped. You have RPH, though, between the pipes, someone we're going to be talking about a lot here in this pregame setup. For hREDS, we have Yoki, the captain in Benito, and Nicky Dangles up top, Temu and King of Apes on defense, and Fincona between the pipes. And I do believe we are getting close, actually, to game time. So what do you say we get right into the individual matchups here? We start off with the centers. Again, the captain of hREDS, it is Benito going head-to-head with Playmaker SJ. Big gap in terms of the points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Benito is we saw him on the screen, one of the top 10 skaters in this league, leading his team in assists, and is actually one of, probably near the top in that as well. I don't actually have the information where he's at in assists, but it's very high up there. His faceoffs are good, 52.2%. When it comes to Playmaker SJ, those point totals aren't bad, but it's far from the elite that we see in Benito here. Very capable player, but that seemed to be Team Leisure's struggle throughout this year, is being able to score. His faceoff percentage comparable, so I think, again, it's going to come down to those key draws between these two.
We move over to the battle of the wingers for Team Leisure. It is Krinka alongside Psycho Skills. And again, for hREDS, you know who it's going to be. It's Yoki and Nicky Dangles as well. And again, Sin, the point differences really stand out.
Yeah, and Team Leisure, it's kind of been upsetting for them. Their wingers are really sort of slacking behind. Playmaker SJ leading the forward group in points. You do not often see that from a center, but it's happening right now. Yoki and Nicky Dangles, we know what they're capable of. A bit surprising to see Nicky Dangles a bit behind, his teammates in the point race. We had such high hopes for him. He had such a great breakout season last season. We were looking for him to build on that. Still definitely possible towards the end of the year, and still a very capable player.
Absolutely. Like you said, I mean, we had those extremely high expectations, but still a very solid, respectable point total. I think the majority of teams in this league would be happy, of course, to have him up front for them. We look over to the defense now for Team Leisure. Again, it is Gazelle alongside the captain in Frankie. And on the flip side for hREDS, a little bit of a change up that we'll talk about a little bit later on, but now it's Tamu on the left, King of Apes on the right. Sin, a massive gap in terms of point production here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like that's kind of what Team Leisure has decided to go with, going with two more defensive type guys, moving psycho skills up to the forward end. The thing about that is it removes some of the threat. You know, Gazelle, no rookie by any means when it comes to the ECL, but hasn't had the greatest of showing thus far on Team Leisure this season. And yeah, we are interested to see how King of Apes is going to play on that right-hand side, but his point totals, pretty scary, especially the goals. 7. Definitely in the tops for defensemen.
And of course, we move on to the goaltenders for Team Leisure. It is the man who's been arguably their team MVP this season. You'd have to say it is RPH going up against Fincona on the other side. Sim, we talked about it. You want to be around an 80% in save percentage. Both goaltenders incredibly close to it. Two of the best that we have in this league.
Yeah, and perhaps even more impressive looking at RPH's save percentage considering where his team is in the standings. So team MVP, definitely my vote. And Fincona, you know, one of the top guys when it comes to the goals against average and the shutouts. Goals against average, you know, can be expected with such a, you know, a great team in hREDS in front of him. But the shutouts, you need big saves to do that. Fincona's a guy who can make those big saves.
Absolutely. So let's move things over here to the 3 keys to success for each of these sides. We'll start things off with hREDS in this battle here. First key, lacking discipline is the key factor here. Out of the 8 playoff teams right now, or at least the teams that entered play today in a playoff spot, 6 happen to be amongst the most disciplined teams. So it's almost as if, Sin, that fewer penalty minutes equals more wins because you have more time on attack. hREDS, the 3rd most penalty minutes in the league. They need to clean up these disciplinary issues. If you run into a team like Havu or Philadelphia in the playoffs, you are not going to win due to this factor alone. And of course, the follow-up from their Sin, shockingly as well. Not only, of course, did they take a ton of penalties, they had the 2nd best PK in the league to offset it, but the point remains, their power play is 14th out of 16th heading into play today. Just 3 out of 26 for the league's 3rd best offense. They had the worst power play numbers heading into play today amongst those playoff teams as well. Again, 11.54% is just absolutely brutal. The next lowest amongst the top teams, and 20%, nearly 21%. It's just a staggering, astonishing number there. And then, of course, our final point here, the defensive switch, as we talked about. It's a very interesting time to try something new, but it might just be exactly what hREDS needs. Theoretically, it's better for King of Apes to play with a left-handed stick for the sake of shooting, and Tamu is one of those freaks who is comfortable with either-handedness in the game. So hREDS trying some different things. They clearly have some aspects of their play that they need to clean up, and they're going to look to do that today against Team Leisure. Sin, for Team Leisure, what's it going to be in this uphill battle?
Well, the first one is the dark cloud hanging over their head, 9. And what does that mean? That's 9 shutouts for against Team Leisure. They've been shut out 9 times this season. They're now facing...
I see what you did there for the German contingent.
Exactly. They are facing a top 4 defense now. The stat could hit double digits. There's no question about that. With what Fincona is capable of, with the 5 shutouts he's already gotten now, it's a rough situation. But if you're Team Leisure, you need points, you need hope. You're hanging on by a thread. Maybe you need a lot to fall your way, but it's never too late. The next one here, into the fire. Gazelle has been welcomed into the Elite Division with matchups against current playoff teams in Havu, Roots, Northern Ascendancy. Not the way you want to ease into a season, but in ECL, is there really a way to ease into the season? It's so competitive, seems to fly by. It's been a noticeably difficult adjustment for him, and it's not going to get easier from here on out. The last one here, though, is the saving grace, and it's the man we've talked about so often, RPH. Last week, admittedly, was rough for him, dropping back from the top 3 in save percentage to 8th. You know, but we said if they were to make the playoffs, He'd arguably be the biggest reason and the team MVP. They're looking for a return to form. RPH going to have to be on his game, especially against a team like hREDS, who can produce offense in so many different ways.
In fairness to RPH, the numbers do look a little bit better if you factor in, the play among starters, we'll say, the full-time guys. But regardless, it was a very rough week, as we talked about there, for Team Leisure, going 0 for 4, one overtime loss to pick up that one pity point, so to speak. So again, the stage is just about set. We are just about ready to go for the first of 2 games, again, between hREDS and Team Leisure. Of course, we'll get you an update a little bit later on in this broadcast as well at the constantly evolving situations, the other results that are going on around the league, and of course the standings. And of course, if you want to go the extra effort and follow along, NHLgamer.com for the most up-to-date information that you can get. Of course, not only the news on the elite division here, but of course the news on everything else that we have going on, whether it be the Russian side of things or the 3 other tiers that we have here in the ECL. Of course, playoffs getting ready to start up or have started up already amongst that. The pro division, the second tier, really stands out. They're just about ready to go with their playoffs structure as well. And of course, then the interesting thing there, you talked about it, the relegation battle we saw in the standings. Some of those teams, Team Leisure, one of them, wanting to make sure that they don't potentially lose a spot to somebody coming up from the pro division next season. You might say on paper, a team that's a little bit too good to get caught into that situation, but as we've talked about in this elite division, you see these lower level teams play, or at least lower level in the elite division, and the competition level is still so incredibly high. So as much as you'd think that a team at the bottom of the standings might not be that good, it's going to be a slugfest here to see how exactly it plays out with a team like Team Leisure trying to avoid relegation.
Yeah, and to go further on that point, you're not even safe as one of those good competitive teams in the elite. You think, oh, I can hold on to my spot against the pro team. Let's remember, flashback to about 4 seasons ago where Vesapampa was in the pro division. Now they're in the elite division, and they're one of our top teams. I mean, there's so many hungry teams in those lower divisions. You don't want to put yourself in a position to risk your spot in the elite.
Vesapampa currently 4th right now in the league on 27 points. So case in point there, Sin. Although I will say, we had the other result from the other Fariestad game. I do believe now they're on 30 points in 22 games. So again, that constantly evolving situation. Vesapampa right there for the taking, could finish as high as 3rd this season. So as Sin mentioned, you never really know how it's going to play out. As we get a look at the locker room here, the lobby, as of course we always try to pay attention. We always try to pay attention to what the player types happen to be. EA not going to be so kind on this attempt unless you happen to get a look at it, Sim, before everything was confirmed.
I'm willing someone to hit their right stick right now, but they're not doing it. My thumb is sporadically trying to move it to the right so I could see the builds. That's something that I just do naturally, just to see what you're up against here. And for this analysis sake, we won't be so lucky, but I'm pretty sure you'd find a fair amount of playmakers and puck movers in there. Maybe the odd 2-way forward or grinder. And I don't think there's anyone as crazy as Afe in there to run a sniper, because Afe is one of a kind, but we'll see what happens here. The thing about builds is if you know how to use it, you can theoretically make any of them work. Meta aside, whatever you're comfortable with, roll with it. And this will be a heck of a matchup here. hREDS and Team Leisure. Team Leisure got a lot to prove. hRED have a lot to lose here with how volatile that top 4 is.
There are a lot of puck-moving defensemen in that hREDS lineup. Saw a 2-way in the Team Leisure lineup. And Sin, you said you think we might see a playmaker. Well, for Team Leisure, we have one in playmaker SJ. He'll be taking the opening draw against Benito of hREDS here. Let's see how this one plays out. Big game for both teams. Playoff implications, relegation battle implications on the line here as you get a look at the lineup. Again, hREDS, we'll see what they are able to do, the home team in this one. Let's see how this one plays out here. They're in possession. Temu on the opposite side finds Benito, looking to work his way in. Of course, hREDS in the black and red, and a wraparound bid there early. RPH being kept on his toes. Team Leisure, of course, in the white. So we don't see wraparound bids as often, but nice to see one there in the early stages.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a nerfing, especially to that backhand animation. It does go off a bit slower, sometimes a lot slower, as you can see some crazy buffered shot animations. Nonetheless, it's good to see them still test it.
Absolutely. So here we go. The opportunity now for Team Leisure to maybe get something going here in the early stages. Pass off the mark, so maybe not. Here's Teemu, burst of speed from the defenseman, cuts back, shot, scores! What an individual effort there from Teemu, switching sides and not looking out of place. Fantastic goal there for his third of the year. It's an early lead for hREDS.
Yep, an unassisted goal, the singular effort indeed. I love to see it, the stop, the holding there. He was waiting, looking for the pass. It wasn't there, and I like him just ripping a shot on. You never know what can happen. I'm pretty sure that one snuck a 5-hole. Yeah, it looks like it bounced off the pad, goes under the legs. A tough break for RPH. Again, looking for the bounce back, not going to find it there off a seemingly not the strongest of shot, but either way, good job from Teemu getting his third of the season.
Absolutely. So again, a big goal there from hREDS early on. We talked about it. Teemu and King of Apes switching sides into this game pays dividends there in the early stages. They're back in possession here. And Sin again for Team Leisure, as we talked about, a team that's been shut out 9 times in their last 11 games. I do believe this was the worst case scenario against a high-powered offense. On the flip side for hREDS, who are right back in on the attack here. Chance throw back in front. That extra pass from Benito just a little bit off the mark here. See what they can do. Psycho Skills nowhere to go. Nicky Dangles finds Yoki. One-on-one situation here with Frankie. The defense able to recover a little bit. Pass across, and it doesn't matter. They score. It's Benito in front. The captain finding the back of the nets. That's his 14th of the season. And Sin, a bad start turns into a worse start for Team Leisure.
Yeah, and it's just sort of snowballing in the worst way possible, and we're just getting a first-hand look at how dangerous the front three from hREDS are. The pass over Benito, almost with a tap-in right there. Good job to get around the defense and behind them, and the force pass through. That's something that we see a lot of this year with intercepts, not being as strong as they once were, highly dependent on positioning.
We'll see what hREDS are able to do here. Losing the puck at the blue line, not the ideal start for Team Leisure, to say the least. Let's see what they can do in response. Great defense on display there from Nicky Dangles. I guess that's the one argument you can make, turning into a much more effective two-way players if he wasn't already. Well, the offensive totals aren't quite where he'd want them to be. Loses the puck there. Defense on display from Gazelle, and we'll see a nice little outward pass there up to Psycho Skills, but again, nowhere to go. Already halfway through this first period. A 2-0 lead for hREDS. They might make it 3. Yoki was going to try the tuck. It was poked away from him. Like it end up not, without the tripping call. As here Psycho Skills drops back to Krinka. And again, the wingers exchange the puck. Good battle for it here. Teemu on the opposite side. Pass in front. Still there. Doesn't go. Big stop by Finn Kona with the opposing team on the doorstep. So, a decent little look there for Team Leisure, all things considered. But hREDS right back in on the attack. Nicky Dangles able to find Yoki. Down low to Benito. Looking, has a couple options. Goes to the point with Teemu, who's looking to step in. A lot of speed. Tried to perhaps go 5-hole again. And it just wasn't there. Good self-sauces here by Playmaker to generate some speed. But a tremendous read from Yoki. He has Gazelle with him, and defenseman does a good job there to stand him up, Sim.
Yeah, very good job just maintaining the gap, staying with him, getting the contact with the stick to send it back around. Nicky Dangles looking for a bump, actually shoots it off the boards.
Chance here, Yoki looking. Trying to shrug off the pressure, just wasn't there. Gazelle able to walk through. Nearly drew a tripping call there against Nicky Dangles. Leisure into the zone, and an errant pass there. Probably not what Psycho Skills was looking for timing-wise. Here comes hREDS again. Teemu looking. Down for Yoki. Backhand. Second chance. He scores. A hell of a feed from Yoki to find King of Apes. And Yoki was there to clean up the rebound. The team leader in goals. That's now 20 on the season. Sin, this is getting ugly.
Yep, and perhaps one of the most frustrating shot animations in the game for King of Apes right there turns out to be a blessing in disguise as the rebound kicks off of the pad, and it's Yoki creeping in there and batting that one home, and hREDS really starting to pile it on here. It's still just the first period, and Team Leisure having fits in their own end, trying to pick up all the moving pieces that is the front three of hREDS.
Again, Team Leisure shot on rebound, and an unfortunate break there for Krinka to not get a hold of it. Team Leisure towards the very bottom in terms of goals for, towards the bottom as well in terms of goals against. This was the worst case scenario for this team. They do have the face-off edge, although they lose that one. Loose puck poked just wide. Krinka not able to really get a handle on that one. 20 seconds to go. One more rush for hREDS. Yoki sends it through. Broken up. Second chance. Pass. Big save by RPH. 2 seconds to go. That'll bring us to the end of the period. So, Sin, again, we say it all the time. Remember that save from RPH if a miracle were to happen here. But hREDS in control of this one. I think the game going as you would expect it to go if you looked at the stats in the pregame.
The on paper is definitely translating to on the sheet of ice, and RPH trying to do his best. Unfortunately, I mean, it's so few shots as faced against him. The ones he has had to stop have all been A chances as well, and that's sort of the issue right now for Team Leisure is they're allowing way too many grade A chances. That was a hell of a save there by RPH on the one-time opportunity by Yoki, keeping this game relatively within reach with 2 periods left. That being said, hREDS looking nearly unstoppable here in the early going.
Here we go. Second period underway. This one into the hREDS zone will be recovered by King of Apes. A quick outlet pass there to Benito. Everyone trying to file in to see this action here. Again, the ECL Elite Division. What an outlet here. Psycho Skills scores! He avoids the flying poke check from Fincona and did his 7th of the year. And Sin, don't look now. Team Leisure, maybe, just maybe, might be able to work their way back into this one.
Yep, a quick outlet pass. As you said, a perfect sauce, and Psycho Skills making no mistake, avoiding the flying poke check by mere inches. He does go down at the end of it, but enough time to get that shot off, and that could be one step back in the long road to recovery.
Maybe just a little bit of overconfidence there from hREDS to get caught on the play. There you go, Team Leisure showing. You know, they get an opportunity. They can make the most of it. Great passing. The trip is drawn, though. A tremendous passing display from hREDS. And they will go to work on the power play again, Sin. An abysmal power play for a team of this caliber. 14th out of 16th in the league.
Yeah, we'll see if they can maybe get it going here. A quick in-tight chance, though. Doesn't go, but behind the net, they're battling for it.
Chance here. If they're able to maintain it, they do. Shot on. Big save by RPH, and the puck is sent all the way down. King of Apes able to recover it here. We'll see how this one plays out. Minute left here on the man advantage. Great movement here once more. Temu looking across. Shot scores! Benito able to pick the corner on the far side. hREDS able to get that power play goal. Team Leisure, a team that often shows discipline. They don't. And it comes back to haunt them as hREDS get that power play going and take a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, and definitely not a bad penalty kill for Team Leisure, but yeah, without the practice sometimes can come out to bite you. This is a good time for hREDS to sort of get that percentage going.
Stretch pass, Psycho Skills against Temu. He has to wait for help. Back, shot, off the pads. Not exactly a clean shot there for Playmaker. Still in possession of it now. Puck back down low to SJ, loses it to Yoki on the incidental contact. The winger looking to bring it down the other way. Great pass to find Nicky Dangles. King of Apes looking, tried to throw it across. Team Leisure able to shut that one down. And again, they have a bit of a rush going. Here's Krinka with a step backhand and a big kick save. Fincona says no on that attempt. He went back to the same corner that we saw the previous goal from Psycho Skills there. It just didn't work out. Here's Yoki again, down to Benito. Nicky Dangles to Yoki, the extra pass. I can't believe Yoki just passed that. He had a wide open net.
I think he did attempt the shot initially, and it bounced back to him, or there's some incidental contact to break it up, and then he elected to pass after that. At least that's what my eyes told me nonetheless. Pretty lucky break for Team Leisure to not be down by 4.
A gigantic break, all things considered. Here's Nicky Dangles into the zone. The big spin pass. Loose puck, he scores! Broken plays are sometimes the best plays. Nicky Dangles pass off the mark, but it bounces right back to him alone in front. The team leader in goals. That's his 18th on the year. 5-1 now for hREDS.
Yeah, and when it rains, it pours for Team Leisure here, and they're just getting caught flat-footed in their own end with such a dangerous front three of hREDS, constantly moving the puck, constantly moving their bodies, and when you're moving your feet, you can get to those loose pucks quicker, or sometimes have them bounce right to you.
Gigantic hit there. hREDS still in possession around the back. Nicky Dangles. Benito was on the doorstep there as well. Great job by King of Apes. He'll win this one back. Turnover here, though. Psycho skills. Can he have the speed? He can. I was going to say, can he get the step? Does he have the speed? King of Apes said absolutely he does not. But again, you see the break here. I mean, definitely send the chances opening up. Because hREDS right now trying to have a little bit of fun and get that offense going. Perhaps run up the score. Nearly cost them on that attempt. It already cost them once this game. Here's Yoki with speed. Can't get the pass across. Still fighting for it down low in the corner. Temu has it now. And again, broken up play there. Team Leisure doing a better job in defense. Can they get anything going on the counter attack? Chance pass blocker save by Fincona. Team Leisure showing some bright spots, but it's been the defensive struggles here that have cost them. They have it down low. SJ pass over in front. Great movement, but just no shooting lanes being given up here by hREDS as Temu muscles him off the puck. And a big stretch pass there is intercepted. Here's Leisure once more. Chance for playmaker. Can't get the pass over to Krinka though.
Yeah, and Cycle Skills unable to get that pass across. They had a 2-on-1. Just a great job from the defense of hREDS to pressure him and force him into a situation where he didn't quite want to pass quite yet.
Let's see what happens here on the opportunity. Team Leisure. The pass shot scores! Again, kind of a broken play, but it pays off. Krinka able to find the back of the net, his 9th of the year. And Team Leisure said at the very least have scored more than one goal in a game.
Yeah, they're hanging in there. They won't get shut out, and they're getting rewarded for some of their offensive pressure, and it's just no love for the goaltenders in this one with some of these bounces going straight to the sticks of the offensive players in tough situations. Again, Fincona not in terrible position, but such an in-tight shot sometimes just finds a hole.
Space here for Yoki. He's got a step, tried the sauce on the cross, went off the pads there of RPH. We move on, final minute here, 30 seconds to play in the period. One more rush chance perhaps, the big sauce pass. Benito doing a great job of holding possession. 5 seconds to go. Temu shot, saved by RPH. 2 seconds, this one banked off the back of the net. And that will do it for the second period. So Sin, a solid lead to say the least here for hREDS. It's 5-2.
Yeah, and it's really hard to see them coughing this one up unless, Team Leisure completely hits a switch, or if hREDS, have some monumental mistakes, but they haven't had too many here. The ones that they have had, you can admit maybe they're trying to, getting a bit too high feet, trying some things out that they wouldn't normally try out in a game where they feel like they have the distinct advantage, and it is showing on the score, but we're getting another look at that Nicky. Well, no, we're not, because the timer is up. We were going to get another look at that Nicky Dangles goal with that beautiful L skating, the fortuitous bounce back to his stick that he was able to put home on RPH. But we got the third period starting here. Team Leisure need a bit of a miraculous comeback.
See how this one plays out. Again, you get a look at the lineups. Nicky Dangles feeds it down low to Benito. hREDS right back in on the attack here in the early stages. Nicky Dangles tried to go back to King of Apes. Don't know if that one got through clean. RPH will cover. Good start for hREDS to get that offense going early.
Yep, and then it looks like, King of Apes finding his way into that high slot as so many defensemen do on their offhand. And,
what a face-off play there. Yoki just wide of the post on the backhand. Nearly the 6th of the game for hREDS. They might still find it. King of Apes recovering possession. Can't get the pass through. Look at the pressure here, though, from hREDS. Pass over. King of Apes can't score on the far side. What a save by RPH. For the looks of it, and again, Nicky Dangles shovels it just wide. hREDS on the cusp of finding that 6th goal.
Yeah, and that's such a common shot to take as, your forward momentum as a skater carries you further than the goaltender does, so excellent anticipation by RPH.
Come on, boys. Benito, King of Apes, gigantic stop by RPH. Loose puck is recovered by Krinka again. You see what this goaltender is capable of. Ultimately, the team in front of him just not really able to hang with this hREDS team, but they're hanging in there for now, I suppose. Only down by 3. Here's Benito. Loose puck again, poked wide. Benito not able to pull back in. Nicky Dangles tries to rifle one across. And RPH will cover it off the stick of the defender. hREDS somehow haven't found that 6th goal yet.
Yeah, and Leisure in desperation mode. Every time that puck goes loose, 3 forwards are jetting up the ice. I understand the need for it, but it's tough for RPH, Gazelle, and Frankie back there to hold down the fort with 3 forechecking hREDS forwards.
Battle along the half wall here. Teemu's able to come up with it, sends it across. Extra pass, big save again by RPH. Not looking out of place despite those 5 goals against, of course. This could be a massacre if not for the near Herculean effort that we've seen out of RPH. Big stretch pass, though. Here's Psycho Skills with a step, chance, pass back, big stop by Finn Kona on the other side. Extra pass to Krinke, the space, just not what he wanted, perhaps. Psycho Skills to Krinke again, a big save again. Finn Kona. So it's tough to say we have a goaltending duel, the 5-2 scoreline, but both goaltenders making some big stops here in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been called upon. They've answered the call. It's just some of the bounces are going directly to places where they don't have much chance of it. And that's why the score is what it is at some.
Yoki back to King of Apes. Benito able to hold it along the line. Nicky Dangles down low in the corner. Tried to find King of Apes on the far side of the crease. Team Leisure will survive that one. Just over 8 minutes to go here. Again, the first game of 2 between these 2 teams. Here's the step for Yoki. Backhand scores. Another kind of broken play, but it works out. Everything going hREDS' way. They find that 6th goal. Yoki now 21 on the season, a goal per game pace.
Yep, an excellent sauce right there. An unfortunate bounce. It was a good skill stick, but it did go right to Yoki. RPH caught a bit off guard. Can't make the adjustment to get across as he puts it home on the backhand. And yeah, you said it. hREDS just seemingly getting some of the bounces that they need, but they're also forcing the issue. Yoki once again gets behind both defensemen.
Face off here we see in control. It's going to be Team Leisure. Let's see what they can do. Playing for pride at this point. And we talked about it, the potential relegation battle as well. Goal differential can play a factor in terms of tie-breaking scenarios. So we'll see how this one plays out. Of course, head-to-head matchups as well, also a factor here. So really looking to need to play for pride in this one. Get the goals that you can. 6 minutes to play. You have that next game coming up. It's going to be a tough mental battle here for Team Leisure as their playoff hopes with this loss, as we kind of expected here, basically all but done. They will focus on the relegation battle at this stage. If you can take away a point, maybe 2 in the next game, you're looking that much better. This one offside with 4.5 to go.
Yeah, and if you're hREDS, it's just about collecting the points while they're there, and you said it, collecting the goals while they're there, with the tiebreak being what it is, running up the score. It nothing to do with disrespect. It's for survival, and it's maybe a bit of pride at the same time.
Benito all out saved by RPH, and the puck sneaks in. This one going to be waved off. From the looks of it, again, the defense just gets caught. It's going to be a shame if that's called goalie interference, and I'm not really sure what Benito's supposed to do there on the prior attempt. No goal is the call.
Yep, probably the goaltender interference, but nothing's perfect here, as we saw in the last series as well.
Big stretch pass there, a little bit off the mark. Again, trying to keep you up to date with everything going on around the Elite Division. Of course, you may have seen in chat there, we have word Havu, our defending champions, taking 4 points away. A big wraparound bid there. Taking 4 points away from Vesta Pampa, a top 4, maybe top 5 team at this stage of the season. So huge results for them. An upsetting result for Vesta Pampa, all things considered. Again, in the mix with Farjestad and this hREDS team. So if you're hREDS now, you knew it to begin with, but you have a chance to make up ground and potentially walk away with that 3rd place spot today. If you're able to walk away with all 4 points, they would jump Farjestad, who are on 30 points. So hREDS a lot to play for here still. Don't look for them to take their foot off the gas. Chance scores. Call it as you see it. Yoki draws the trip. Nicky Dangles is there to clean it up. And it just keeps getting worse for Team Leisure.
Yeah, another, not necessarily a bounce, but a loose puck that just goes to a danger area once again, and Nicky Dangles making no mistake in time after time. hREDS finding themselves in those positions, and that starts with knowing where each other is, providing good support there. When you're a trailer, follow that puck carrier. Puck goes loose.
Shot scores! King of Apes with the bomb of a shot. His 8th of the year. hREDS running away with this one.
And that now, I believe, unless King of Apes got one earlier, that's all 5 skaters from hREDS getting in on the goal scoring sheet.
35 to go. Here comes Yoki again. Puck down low in the corner. Again, Sim, we talked about it. Shot, big save there by RPH. We talked about it. Team Leisure is an incredibly solid team. You do not make it into this division if you are not. But there are levels, even within the top division, that the European side of things has to offer. So you might look at Team Leisure and say, Jesus Christ, this matchup isn't even fair. Team Leisure are an incredibly solid team. It just goes to show the talent that we see out of this hREDS lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. They're top for a reason. We were talking about them last year as being one of perhaps another top team. Teemu
pass over, just doesn't go. One more shot, and that'll do it. A gigantic victory for hREDS in this one. Again, Team Leisure, if it wasn't confirmed before, it is confirmed now. You are in a relegation battle, and for hREDS, the first of two, the first 2 points of a hopeful 4. If they walk away with all 4 points, they will position themselves into the top 3 of the Elite Division, with at that point with what would be 8 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. And this hREDS team just so scary on the offensive end of things. We got a firsthand look from a team who's really been struggling to keep that puck out of the net in Team Leisure. And again, no real fault of RPH. It's just that hREDS time and time again, we're finding themselves getting behind the defenseman, bringing that puck to the net. And that's what I like to see from hREDS. When they got a lead, it's not like they started, let's try about a bunch of fancy plays. They stuck to their system, pucks, bodies to the net on the rush, have a guy in close support to that puck carrier, and I believe it's 2 or 3 times that directly led to a goal. As we saw there, Yoki getting tripped, Nicky Dangles cleaning it up on the rebound. That is the marker of a good team, and another marker of a good team is one that continues to press until that final whistle. We talk about it so much. You want to continue to keep the pressure on. Doesn't matter what the score is. That's what it's going to take to win in the playoffs, and hREDS doing their damnedest here to show us that they are one of those top teams, as they were trying so hard to prove in that last season, maybe just doing that this year. And the top continues to look super volatile here, as each season we seem to talk about the top 2 becomes a top 3, becomes a top 4, and now 5 teams, Färjestad, hREDS, and of course Vesapampa up there at the top, joining Havu and Philadelphia. I mean, these are some scary teams.
Not to mention, Sin, last year's surprising number 1 seed in Ymca Esports. After a slow start and a lot of roster turnover, they've battled their way back into top 3 contention. Northern Ascendancy, one of the surprise teams of the season. They are right there. It is incredible how close the playoff race is at this stage of the game. We will be back after a very, very brief moment from our sponsor. It is Wilhelm, and we'll set the stage for our next and final game of this broadcast.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
See, there we go. Quick and easy. Aren't they delicious? I don't know. We'll know eventually, but you can find out. And if you don't take advantage of that opportunity, I don't know what's the matter with you. Sin, we have 1 game left to go here in this broadcast. Again, the second game of 2 between hREDS and Team Leisure. And as we said right now, it really is all eyes on what we have going on throughout the league table. Again, at the end of this broadcast, we'll get you an updated look at the standings, at least as it happens to be at that point in time. But we've talked about it. For Team Leisure at this point, 23 games out of 30 played, 15 points. You are absolutely in a relegation battle, and you're looking at the teams below you. Ymca Esports, 3 games at hand, 2 points back. Conquer Gaming, 3 games at hand, only 2 points back. Dark Horse, 5 games at hand, 5 points back. If there was ever a time to pick up points here, this is it for Team Leisure. I mean, you are, if you weren't before, staring down the barrel of a relegation battle here. You need something, but how do you possibly find something after a game like that? Where do you even begin to look for openings against an hREDS lineup that ripped you apart in the last game. I mean, again, there were a couple of bright spots. You could talk about it for Team Leisure, though. Most of their chances coming off of counterattacking opportunities from hREDS, really going for the kill, the defenseman included. Where do you start if you're Team Leisure to try and get something out of this when every point matters that much more?
Yeah. Honestly, it's as hard as it is, you have to keep trying to battle, but it's almost like you need to find something for the future because it's whatever you got right now. It's just seemingly not working. And RPH, such a good goaltender, feeling like he's being a bit left out to dry here. I know you have to open things up if you're Team Leisure, but at the same time, if you're already kind of out of a game, if you're already out of the playoff picture, you're fighting for relegation, to stay out of relegation, sure. But as you mentioned, pretty much a guarantee right now. You need to try to find your way back to a system that actually, can actually benefit you in some form of way. If you have two defensemen in Gazelle and Frankie, who seem like the more defensive types, you just allowed 8 goals with a very competent goaltender in RPH. There's something, fundamentally wrong right now with this team, and hREDS is exposing that to the highest degree.
Absolutely. So, you look at the situation here for them, an uphill battle to say the least. Sin for hREDS, obviously, there's not much that you have to change. Like we said, right now, it's just get that W, move yourself into the top 3. Again, the more points, the better, all things considered. I mean, again, on 29 points now at this stage, but you have Havu and Philadelphia probably just a little bit too far ahead as we get a look at the standings here. Not sure if that hREDS game has been reported. As far as I know, that was their 21st game of the season. So intrigued to see how this one plays out. But it does get you a look at least at the stage that was heading into these second matchups. And like we said, I mean, you can tell for Team Leisure now a very dire situation, and for hREDS, a whole hell of a lot to play for here in this up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's volatile no matter where you are. I mean, you can almost break it down into brackets when it comes to those standings. You got like the top, which is almost sort of being merged with that middle right now, and then you sort of have the bottom teams. And again, you want to try to stay out of the relegation positions, but if you can't, then try to just find the building blocks. We talk about that all the time in game when you're looking for the next game. You've already lost one. What's your building blocks for the next game? If you're Team Leisure, what are your building blocks for almost next season, almost the relegation? What are your building blocks in general? Because it seems like right now your whatever formula you got is crumbling around you. Your house is breaking down. It's almost, you could even argue, on fire. May sound a bit harsh, but you just got 8-2'd in the elite division. We talk about how impressive this division is. I mean, with Team Leisure, we said last week, they have more to show us. This week, do they? I mean, then they just get kind of trampled. It's unfortunate. We know the skill level of them as individuals, incredibly high. It's just, what's going on right now, with that team where they can't seem to put the pieces together, because the pieces, as we know, incredibly strong, but something's just not working.
Absolutely. As again, would have been nice to get a little bit better of a look here. Of course, you presume the puck moving defenseman, a common theme throughout that lineup. We cannot say for sure, but regardless, and we are just about ready to go. Again, the second game of 2 between these two teams, the final game of this broadcast. Both teams, hey, there we go. A whole lot of puck-moving defensemen, quite a few playmakers as well in that lineup as well. Of course, the 2 main player types you would see in the European game, all things considered. Sen, excited to see how this one goes. I think we know how this one's going to go.
Perhaps.
But again, even in the final results, there's still a lot to play for. The goal differential matters. So for Team Leisure right now, if you're going to lose, try to minimize the damage.
Yeah, and honestly, if you want to find a building block, getting a huge win right here would be immense. But I mean, with the on paper, with everything in that regard, it's hard to kind of imagine them beating a team that is as good as hREDS and looked as good as they looked in that last matchup.
Absolutely. So here we go again. Puck drop. We'll see how this one plays out. hREDS and Team Leisure. And we thank our sponsor in Wilhelm for helping make this season happen. hREDS quickly in on the attack, of course, in the white and red. Team Leisure in the black. Let's see what Benito is able to do here on this early attack. Good puck movement again from hREDS, able to fight off the pressure. Nicky Dangles wraparound bid doesn't go. So we talked about that earlier in this broadcast. Those backhand wraparound animations certainly slowing down from what they used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned that in the last one, but once again, ironically, that's sort of how the last one started out too. hREDS looking for that in-tight chance on the wraparound, getting off to a good start. And, Team Leisure want to sort of maybe try to avoid getting in, getting in a hole early on. It's tough against an hREDS team, but again, what are your building blocks? What can you find to build on? Can you get a lead? Can you trust and fall into that defensive formula that you may want to do with RPH, Gazelle, and Frankie back there?
I think that's the thing, though, too, Sin. You look at RPH right now, that wraparound bid's a way to keep him honest, because you have to wonder what the trust level is of the defense in front of him. Like I said, obviously, Frankie, certainly more of a defensive leader, captain of the team, of course, but more of a defensive defenseman, I should say. With Gazelle, of course, like I said, at the start of this broadcast, just thrown, or like you said, just thrown into the fire in terms of the caliber of teams that he's had to play. He has yet to have a series against a non-playoff team this season. So very tough way to debut this year. See what happens here, though. hREDS back in on the attack. Yoki down low to Nicky Dangles. Back to Yoki again. Another wraparound bid. RPH, tremendous tracking on that one. Certainly a more slow pace to this one as it stands, which is probably where Team Leisure wants its Psycho Skills. Sends that one across. Pinch in here from Frankie. Nothing doing. Here's Nicky Dangles. Has King of Apes with him. The defenseman tried a very interesting cutback to the near post. Just a little bit off the mark. Nicky Dangles able to find Benito, but not able to hold it over the line. The big outlet pass here. Psycho Skills as an option. Not able to get that one on target. So, Sin, honestly, you look at Team Leisure, the best course of action here might just be to turtle up defensively, try to limit the damage, and honestly make this game as boring as possible.
Perhaps that could... Oh my goodness, it's a shot right there. Somehow stays out. RPH coming up with the save, perhaps fortunately so. Nicky Dangles cutting across with speed on the back end. Maybe just didn't get the aim that he wanted. But yeah, not just bore and frustrate hREDS, but maybe just try to, like we said, find what you're going to be good at and what you want to do.
Franka trying to work his way through. Nothing doing there. Big poke check tried to keep it alive, a little bit off the mark. And as you mentioned, a tremendous stop there, all things considered, for RPH. hREDS right back in on the attack here, though. Yoki drops it off for Nicky Dangles. Back to the point. King of Apes not able to get the pass that he wanted there. Already just 7.5 remaining here in this first period. I'm sure for Team Leisure, at least thankful that we have some fast-paced action in this one, as we have playmaker SJ across, and somehow that one doesn't go. Finn Kona able to get a toe on it to keep that one from going in. Big saves from both goaltenders on both sides. Not really a surprise. And again, we saw a decent amount of that in the first game, despite the incredibly one-sided scoreline.
Yeah, it's both these goaltenders really good, and it came down to a lot of defensive breakdowns and bounces.
Chance there, near side. Yoki not able to get it to go. We'll see again, just not the quick outlet that Psycho Skills wanted for himself with the self-sauce. Frank across the trouble shot, score! Psycho Skills finds the back of the net. Broken play or not, Team Leisure strike first. What a turn of events.
Yeah, exactly what they wanted, exactly what they needed right here. As you mentioned it, Psycho Skills, the recipient of a good bounce, but we saw plenty of that from the last game there. The pass, it was like the bounce off the defenseman right back to his stick off incidental, passed across to Psycho Skills, who buries it 1-0 for Leisure. Now we'll really get to see what they're capable of defensively against a very potent hREDS offense.
Can they hold? Gigantic hit there, leads to an offside. Again, Team Leisure showing that they're able to find the back of the net. Again, it's been their big struggle this season. Talking about a team that averages about 1 1/3 goals per game, 1.36 average. Obviously now, 3 goals here already against a team the caliber of hREDS, one of the better defensive teams in the league. Promising stuff. Again, for a team that's going to look to avoid a relegation battle here. Turnover yet again. Psycho Skills with the jump, has Krinka with him. Finn Kona keeping that one out for the moment. And in general, as he's able to find that one and make the cover. Sin, is it a matter of Team Leisure making the plays, or hREDS getting a little bit too confident in the offensive zone?
I think it's a bit of combination of both. I don't think hRED's going out of their way to, put the swagger up and be overconfident, but they have a way they want to play. In Team Leisure, when they have a lead, when they can fall back to pure defense, they can be very good. But it's just about scoring enough goals to get in that position.
And speaking of goals, there is one. Nicky Dangles, 5-hole. He gets the goal that's able to tie this one up. Sin, we talked about the lower point total for him compared to what we expected. He's had a big day so far. We're tied at 1.
Yep, another goal right there, and I believe that brings his total up to 20 on the season, if I'm not mistaken. And, I mean, that's a tough break for Team Leisure there.
1 second to play, no shot. That will do it. So a big goal there for Nicky Dangles to tie this one up late at the end of the first. And there you see the completely dominant one-sided stats for hREDS.
Yeah, I mean, they really seem to have the advantage, and that's what they can do. They're a very possession-heavy team, and Team Leisure perhaps not able to get a lot of that themselves, but when they can shut things down, they can be very dangerous. Unfortunately, right there, that was a great pass. All the black jerseys around, but no one able to take the angle from Nicky Dangles. RPH seemingly may have been able to make the save. So hard for goaltenders in tight like that. They could shoot short side, they could shoot 5-hole, a lot of options to put the puck home. He goes 5-hole, and it's a tie game, and Team Leisure now back in a rougher spot.
Tied at 1 here at the beginning of this second period. Let's see what hREDS are able to do here. They have the first bit of possession. Yoki down low to Benito. Nicky Dangles has it, pulls back. That shot hit the post from the sound of it. Second chance on the near side. And Sin, you see it, the way hREDS fight for the short side options, those quick passes back, nearly works out for them again. They'll have an offensive zone draw, but nearly finding that quick goal to take the lead.
Yep, and that's what they could do. They have so many different ways to hurt you, and we're seeing them all on display.
One-timer there, doesn't really go. Maybe not, or still a one-timer, but just a standing slap shot. Loose puck recovered here. Leisure trying to send things down the other way. Playmaker SJ dishes back. Gazelle stepping in. Can't get anything off there, though. hREDS will go down the other way. King of Apes, the quick hands. Weaved his way through. Follow-up help defense was there, though. Krinka not able to get that outlet pass. hREDS will slow things down a little bit here in the neutral zone.
Yeah, and we've seen that a few times from Gazelle when he does step up in the offensive zone to kind of try to find something. He doesn't shoot and maybe hesitates too long to pass, and oftentimes gets it poked away from him by stepping up a little bit too far without making a move.
Yoki not able to make his way beyond the defense there. Team Leisure looking a little bit more stable defensively. Not the commentators jinx it, but we haven't done too much of that in this broadcast, so why not start now? Leisure. Stretch pass finds Krinka, gets it back over. Chance here, still fighting for it around the back of the net. Pushes all the way back to the point. Again, back down low to the corner. It's just nowhere to go. So fast. Our hREDS defensively to get a stick in on the play. Pass front, scores! Nicky Dangles again! 5-hole again. Then he's found his spot on the ice, and hREDS bounce back after giving up the opening goal.
Yeah, and so often his spot is that of the closest player to the goaltender, recipient of passes, of rebounds, and you're seeing why Nicky Dangles is one of the top goal scorers in this league now, and he is collecting quite a few, but now hREDS in that lead. Team Leisure has to open up once again, which could allow a lot more space for hREDS to get that high-flying offense going.
Yeah, a very rough turn of events here for Team Leisure. No icing on this one after the bit of contact over the halfway point of the second period here. Again, hREDS winning the first game by the score of 8-2. This one much closer through this stage. Bit of a step here. Opportunity, and again, he can't get a shot off. Then that's the issue for Team Leisure, I think, holding onto the puck just for a little bit too long as the back-checking pressure has been able to get to them.
Yeah, in that situation, it was tough. He was trying to, keep it in front of him, but it was just two defensive skill sticks in his face. Had nowhere to go.
Puck recovered by Leisure. Big stretch pass again to Psycho Skills. Good puck protection. Back across. Krinka can't get the shot off again. It's frustrating as a commentator. It's got to be frustrating as a player. Chance the pass. Psycho Skills able to recover and tries to hold on to it. Nicky Dangles with the pressure. Puck in front. Taken away by Temu. The stretch pass off the mark. hREDS, though, able to recover, and this one's going to be offside, though. Just under 5.5 to go here in the second.
Yeah, hREDS there, they have a culture of in your face. In the offensive zone, they're in your face forechecking. Neutral zone, in your face, trying to force those turnovers. Defensive zone, not letting you get any time or space to make a pass, take a shot, nothing like that. Just very aggressive and in such a good way with their body position. They're keeping it so that they won't give up much of anything on like quick break plays. It's just really good to watch.
Interception there, but Teemu able to recover. Touch pass over to the far side. Nicky Dangles gives it right back to him. No space for Yoki. But again, the pressure from hREDS. Yoki not able to fend him off on that attempt, though. Again, Psycho Skills back there, the green icon for Team Leisure. Normally a defenseman playing forward now. Second week in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Might even be the third. But ultimately, that extra bit of defense not really helping out too much. Team Leisure still trailing in this game after scoring the opening goal. Now face a face-off here in their defensive zone. Tie up here, and Leisure will come up with it. Let's see what they can do as we approach the final minute of play. Trinka's pass not able to go through. hREDS here, quickly looking to get back in on the attack. Quick passes through the neutral zone. Nicky Dangles finds space. Benito runs into trouble. Turnover. Nicky Dangles bumped off. Still fighting for it. Yoki to the backhand. Big save by RPH. And Yoki draws the call in the final 3 seconds in. You hate to see it. The worst time to take a penalty. We'll see what happens here on this draw. Plenty of time for hREDS. If Benito can get a clean win, he can't. And that will bring us to the end of the period. A 2-1 lead now for hREDS.
And that's got to be a bit of a frustration penalty with that puck behind the net, with the time winding down. You always want to watch your sticks. Or often hear people call out no pens in the the last 10 seconds, and right there, that's a situation where you really don't want to be poking. Regardless, he's got the puck, he has the body position, he's behind the net, his face is to the boards. At that point, you just want to go for bumps, board play, anything, just box him out. And the poke ends up leading to a power play opportunity going into the second period for hREDS. The only sort of a silver lining on the cloud of that Team Leisure has is that they are starting in the neutral zone, a chance to win the faceoff, cleared out, not let hREDS set up, who, as we mentioned, have had a struggling power play.
So they go to the man advantage. They did get a power play goal in the prior game. Chance here, one-timer. King of Apes fires that one high and wide. Second chance, great pass. See, hREDS not afraid to take those extra passes, just make their incredible pretty plays. Yoki not able to get that one through. The puck sent all the way down. 50 seconds to go here now on the man advantage. We'll see how this one plays out. Puck is turned over. Krenke with a little bit of a step, drops back. Psycho Skills with him, just not able to pull it through. hREDS back in on the attack. 10 seconds to go here. A much better PK attempt here from Leisure. They have a chance here. Gazelle with a bit of a step. Can't get that pass through. hREDS 3-on-3 down the other way. Nicky Dangles looking. Finds Teemu. He'll send it all the way around. That one sent back down the other way. But Psycho Skills is going to win this race. Nullifying the icing. Has it here. Back to the point. Frankie. Gazelle. Shot. Save. Rebound. Krinka just not able to get a piece of it. The pinch in. Not playmaker there. It looked like he was in front. Psycho Skills couldn't get him to pass. Loose puck is recovered here. Benito able to slow things down, but obviously in total here, or in general, a much better performance from Leisure. That one on nearly caught Fincona out of position. He was standing in the center of his crease. And a little bit lucky this time, perhaps, to get the play. I don't know. Maybe I'm overhyping that one, but it was interesting to see Fincona that far to the left as the puck trickled towards the goal.
It definitely looked interesting because of the pickup. He kind of looked like he had to reach behind him to get that. So yeah, maybe out of position right there a bit, and maybe a bit high in the crease, as he wasn't expecting that to come back. Nonetheless, it doesn't result in a goal for Team Leisure. What a break that would have been.
Mistime this one here. The offside call. 13:15 remaining. And hREDS right now looking to secure, not secure, but at least take over the third seed here in the Elite Division. Team Leisure, of course, looking to walk away with a point to help them out in this relegation battle that they now find themselves in, as hREDS win the puck back in the zone. Nicky Dangles, being compared to Patrick Laine in the chat, I'd argue he plays a little bit better defense. Space here, Benito, this one poked away. And they go for the quick outlet, not able to hit Psycho Skills there, but Sin, you like to see it. Team Leisure trying something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And now's the time. I mean, now's the time, like, as we mentioned, time, like so often on this stream so far, it's time for you to find something that is going to work, because this season just simply hasn't so far. And it looks like they are looking for those building blocks and, still have a chance in this one. 11 minutes left, just down by 1.
And again, we talked about it a lot, especially at this stage of the season. If you're going to lose, at least get to overtime. Every point truly matters. As Tamu brings it down low into the corner. Good movement again here, though, from hREDS. King of Apes back for Nicky Dangles down low. Cuts in front. Can't get it on the far side. Might have gone 5-hole on that one, actually, on review. Big stretch pass there for Krinke. A little bit off the mark. Of course, no icing on the call. Right now, under 9 minutes to play here. Tamu over for King of Apes, trying to work their way through. Force drop packs a little bit off the mark. Now down to 8 minutes left. Puck bouncing around everywhere. hREDS, though, still in control of it for the moment. Nicky Dangles again finds space down that right-hand side. Pass across, intercepted. Here's Psycho Skills. Has a step. Breakaway. Scores! Team Leisure have tied this one at 2. It's Psycho Skills on the breakaway again. We have ourselves a game.
And that's exactly what Team Leisure can do if they're able to stifle that initial rush from hREDS, who often like to commit that extra guy. It leads to another breakaway from Psycho Skills, who did score another one like that this time. Elects to go to the backhand, tucks it home. Tie game, and as I said, Team Leisure not out of it. Excellent counterattack.
It's a whole new game here. 6 minutes to play. Tied at 2. Well, hREDS, they're going to punch back with a vengeance here. Chance Benito does not go. RPH able to come up with a crucial cover there to prevent hREDS from getting that goal right back.
Yeah, just like that. It's the quick response, and once again able to sneak Benito behind the defense with that speed and gets a chance on net.
Let's have it here off the draw. Dish back to the point. Tamu. Again, down low for Yoki. Nicky Dangles back to Yoki again. Nowhere to go. Back down low one more time. Now in the corner. Great defense here from Leisure to hold up. Gazelle. Now it's Krinke with a little bit of space. The spin, a little bit ill-advised there. 3.5 to play. Tied at 2. Would you believe hREDS won the last game 8-2? You might not if you're just tuning into this broadcast here. Krinke not able to hold on to that one. hREDS back in possession. King of Apes trying to get the puck in the zone. Poked out. Ultimately, he recovers here in the neutral zone, the other side of the line. Great pressure there from SJ, I should say. Playmaker SJ to try and get that one away. hREDS still maintain possession here, though. Benito, loose puck, Nicky Dangles. Yoki now has it on the off wing. Around the back, Nicky Dangles back to Yoki, looking. King of Apes, no shooting lane. Final 48 to play here. Team Leisure desperately need to hold on for this point, but they might go for the win. Shot taken away. hREDS now with a bit of a step. 35 here. Pass a little bit off the mark. Psycho Skills with a good chop to send it around the other way. Recovered once more. SJ finds Psycho Skills. He'll dump this one in. You see the mentality here from Team Leisure. Let's not take any unnecessary risks with 20 seconds to go as Nicky Dangle's pass back is off the mark. 15 seconds away from a crucial point and a chance in overtime for Team Leisure. But here come hREDS. Yoki with a bit of a step. Can't get it through. Loose puck. Tamu shoots it just wide. Second chance off the side of net. One more chance in front. Broken up. And from an 8-2 defeat to a 2-2 overtime appearance, Team Leisure and hREDS both lock down a point. Sin, we're going to overtime.
Yep, and Team Leisure just able to hold on for dear life at the end there. And hREDS maybe looking for a bit too much of a perfect shot prior to that last possession where they were starting to throw everything towards the net. There were a couple instances where they elected not to shoot, looking for that perfect pass to try to take that lead again. Doesn't work in their favor, but on the flip side, they do secure the point. They've guaranteed themselves 3 points on today and are now battling for that fourth. The fourth is important, but safe to say hREDS did their job today. And if you're Team Leisure, you want that goal. Maybe you've been holding on for dear life. You've been able to counterattack to find your goals. You just need one more play like that. You need to weather the storm that's going to come out from hREDS here.
hREDS now in a tie for third with Farjestad. Right where they want to be, the extra point will put them ahead. Second chance, third opportunity for Benito, doesn't go. And again for Team Leisure, crucial point, but an extra one would be that much more valuable. Benito shot blocker stop by RPH. The pace is relentless, stopped by RPH. Glove side denies King of Apes. How did Leisure survive that first 2.5 minutes?
I mean, every single period hREDS has come out like that and gotten a handful of chances. RPH perhaps no better than he's been in this series so far.
Just wide, high glove side from Yoki. Incredible pressure from hREDS here. Leisure holding on, good poke check there by Gazelle, but he's held up by Nicky Dangles, getting back, but Nicky Dangles as well held up himself, forced to drop back into the neutral zone. Big step up hit there. And Leisure end up with the puck. Psycho Skills trying to weave his way through. Just too much traffic to get the job done. Here's Yoki. Able to work his way past the defense. Good give and go. Down low for Benito. He drew the trip, though. It wasn't the most obvious animation in the world, but the trip is called. It's going to be the captain, Frankie, the right defenseman for Team Leisure, going to the box. hREDS again. We've seen them score a power play goal. The power play, much worse than you would expect on the season. Chance, Yoki across, Nicky Dangles there. The buffer shot is stopped by RPH.
Almost a perfect set play. He had either the short side shot or the pass across to Nicky Dangles. Maybe hesitated a bit too long as RPH was sort of playing the odds right there. Couldn't get the pass across, and you mentioned it, the buffer shot leads to a chance. Good face-off win right there. Leisure need the clear. That's not what you want to do.
No, not able to get it. Psycho Skills back over. And Gazelle will send it all the way down this time. Minute 10 remaining on the power play. 6 minutes gone in this overtime. Of course, we play until there's a winner. hREDS certainly looking up to the challenge here, but all it takes is one chance down the other way for Team Leisure. King of Apes, the Temu, Benito, the Yoki. Nicky Dangles had to play forward as well. Apes stepping in, passed back across. It's not there. 15 to go on the kill. Nicky Dangles looking for Yoki, tried to go back to the other winger, it wasn't there. Apes looking for Benito, back to 5-on-5, Frankie. Back down in front of goal here. hREDS though, good bit of possession now. Benito looking, Nicky Dangles tried to hold off on that, didn't happen. Second chance, stopped on the opportunity in front there for Benito. And we'll see what happens here. It's incredible how long the stretches can go where you're forced to just keep on calling the action when you're dying for a drink of water.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was an excellent job by hREDS, although we may have a chance.
Ooh, Krinka nearly walked through with that one. Sin continue. Never mind. Krinka off the turnover again. Just doesn't have the speed, though. Still tired legs from the penalty kill.
Yeah, and hREDS were just so patient in the offensive zone. You saw them working the right half boards for so long, looking for the space, and they got it with Benito sliding into the slot. The perfect pass was there, but an even better pad save from RPH. And now we got a bit of a neutral zone trap game going, but they do penetrate the offensive zone.
From hREDS, chance off the turnover there. Frankie able to survive. Opportunity down the other way, but they mistime it. A mistake you cannot afford to make.
Yeah, with how few and far between some of these chances have been going for Team Leisure here. Yeah, you said it. Every little bit helps.
Off the draw, hREDS in possession. Nearly 13 minutes gone now in this overtime. Here's King of Apes. Cuts back. Finds Benito down low. Takes the hit. Can't make the play. It's Leisure back in possession. The self-sauce a little bit off the mark. As Yoki takes the big hit. Leisure back in possession here. Giselle's pass not able to find the target. hREDS back in possession now. Team Leisure, just note you don't get an extra point for going to double overtime. Although right now holding on defensively for dear life. Benito off the turnover, finds Yoki, big blocker save from RPH. Nicky Dangles a chance, pass, scores! It's Benito, the captain, able to find the back of the net. And hREDS walk away with all 4 points. They move into third place, jumping the likes of Vesapampa and Farjestad on the day. A crucial point picked up for Team Leisure, but hREDS get the job done.
Yeah, and that when you see a play by Nicky Dangles like that, the pass across to Benito, you kind of have to harken back to all the wrap chances that Nicky Dangles had. And if you look at that play, you'll see RPH really slide over to that right poach, maybe anticipating, waiting for that wrap bid once again from Nicky Dangles, who is such a prolific goal scorer, loves to shoot. And in that case, the mental game comes out. He elects to pass over to Benito, who has about half of the net to shoot at from RPH, who just couldn't adjust properly, kind of slid out to the middle, as you can see. And unfortunately for him, the game ends on that note. hREDS picking up the huge 4 points, as you mentioned, moving into third place in the ECL Elite, and Team Leisure now pretty much guaranteed to be a relegation team.
Absolutely. Now, Sin, of course, one of the things we always talk about at the end of a broadcast is what we can look forward to later on in the week. Again, regular season Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Wednesday as well. The other English broadcast Thursday will be back in Finnish, but Wednesday already. Want to point this out here. We have Sawo Esports and Dark Horse, two teams at the bottom of the standings, very much in that relegation battle, and then Team Leisure back in action against Philadelphia. So in theory, it might not be the most appealing matchups, of course, because you have three of the bottom four teams. But that day right there will be one that is remembered, because that is going to be so important for the relegation battle, especially Dark Horse and Sawo Esports going head-to-head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are huge 4-point games, essentially, each one of them. I mean, neither one wants to be caught at the bottom, especially Dark Horse just breaking into the elite here. You don't want to take a step backwards, as tough as the adjustment is from pro to elite. You know, it's not something that you'll want to do. So you mentioned it, huge points in Team Leisure. Again, things kind of going from bad to worse. They faced hREDS here. Now they're going to face Philadelphia, and that is no easy matchup either.
To say the least, former champions, last year's runner-up as well. Havu had to put up with a year of me saying that they failed in the finals, so now it was Philadelphia's turn to have to hear that for another year. And, of course, those are the two top teams in the ECL Elite Division to this point in the season. So, Sin, of course, again, we talked about it. For hREDS, a phenomenal day. All things considered, all six players on point. I mean, I think defensively as well, you talk about the Temu King of Apes swap, didn't exactly harm them in too many ways. So in terms of talking about the team, you could name an MVP if you wanted to, but as you mentioned, the bottom line is they get the job done. They move up into third, and that very important battle that we're seeing there, like we said, between Färjestad, hREDS, Vesapampa, Ymca, Northern Ascendancy, right now, hREDS are where they want to be. But Sin, you know, you talk about it. We just named the four teams there, actually the five teams that are very much in the mix. There is no easy matchup here, to say the least. You know, when you talk about, get the 3 seeds so you get to play the 6 seed in the playoffs. That in theory, that's not going to work here, because right now that would be hREDS and Ymca. That is not an easy matchup for either side. So again, we talk about the competition level. hREDS right now in a very good spot, pretty much. Regardless of where you want to be, regardless of the playoff format, they're where they want to be right now. Again, for Team Leisure, a crucial point, to say the least. But we talked about it with Dark Horse. At least at the moment, don't believe Dark Horse are playing right now. So they have 6 games at hand on Team Leisure to make up 6 points. Again, these were the standings heading into the matchup, because Team Leisure have now played 24 games upon the conclusion of that. And again, hREDS up into third. So again, a very interesting battle on the left-hand side, the playoff side of the bracket. And on the right, you still have someone like Ymca Esports, Gotham Knights, and maybe even SJ Gaming that can make it. But from 12 down, the relegation battle is on, Sin.
Yeah, and when it comes to the playoffs, you were mentioning how volatile it's going to be. The seeding doesn't necessarily make it easier. You can maybe talk about how you think, Philadelphia Havu pretty much shoo-ins to at least make that second round. But again, remember back to last season, Ymca, the first place seed, the top team, getting upset by Färjestad there in that first round, who just seemed to pull this new strategy completely out of nowhere and was incredible. So even with the seeding set, even with the playoff set, even with who you think those top teams are going to be, anything can happen when it comes to the playoffs, and still we got plenty of season left. Anything can happen to the, those few last spots in that left side of the bracket, 6 through 8 up for grabs still.
Again, 30 games played in the regular season. Team Leisure, 24 games. Dark Horse with 18. There is still so much that is yet to be solved that we will continue to track along here and follow along with throughout the final few weeks of the regular season. That will do it for us here on this broadcast. Again, a reminder, Wednesday, we will be back. It will be Ymca Esports against Dark Horse, Team Leisure against Philadelphia. Again, the 1945 start time. Of course, that would be about 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those of you here on the North American side of things. So you're not going to want to miss that. And of course, in that broadcast, we'll have the details for you as well for what will be presented on the Finnish broadcast, of course, on Thursday, which you'll be able to catch at the same time. And again, those matchups on Wednesday. Sin, another interesting day of action. Love that we get to do this. The Elite Division living up to the hype this season. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. You can, of course, catch Sin on Twitter at SinForTheWinProd and right here on Twitch occasionally. Not really, though. I'm going to try to bully you into this. Mainly on YouTube.
I'm coming back. New Year's resolutions and all that.
Gonna happen. Sin for the Win Productions on YouTube. Check him out. And of course, you can find me everywhere at Tuki24, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, maybe TikTok soon. But of course, right here on Twitch and YouTube as well. We thank you very much for joining us again. Shout out to our sponsors and Wilhelm for helping make this happen. NHLGamer.com for all the information that you need. We will see you Wednesday. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy. And Wilhelm.
Parasta purtavaa kauden kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.